that your wallet? Or are you just glad to see me?
Both, I hope.
Sango, thank you very much for the prime. Appreciate that first thing this morning. That's the way we like to start the stream. Welcome in, boys and girls. Good morning to you. Hope you're all well. Yes, coffee is most definitely on the go. Got some stuff to do today. I got 3 things I want to try and get done today. I got to relist all of my pets. Relisting all of my pets is a every other day situation. I post them for 48 hours and leave them. So we're back to relisting pets. I want to farm up some gear on my new level 11 Twink druid. We'll talk a little bit about that in detail later. And maybe if time permits, we should also do some Emerald Dream stuff. I've missed the Super Bloom for this hour because I'm late. I apologise for that. I'm a touch late this morning. Usually like to start at 11. It's way past 11 by my standards anyway. And let's get a few things up and running. I hope everybody is well though. I hope everybody's good. We have Season of Discovery turning up tomorrow, which is exciting. I'm still 50-50 whether I want to. I mean, I think from the content perspective, I really should go and at least have a look at it. I clearly would probably play a hunter. There's no denying. If I was going to go do it, even on Classic, I would probably just play a hunter. I can't see any reason why I would, you know, go too far away from the norm. We'll see. But that's tomorrow's job. Is there a... Wow, welcome to the world of squirrels already. Is there I saw a global launch something or other somewhere, didn't I? Where did I see that? Where did I see the global launch thing of it? Is it going to be if I go to the Classic tab? November the 30th, 9 p.m. GMT. So although when I said it, starts tomorrow, it's technically today. Just very late today. Where's the global launch thing? They did a no, that's the what's happening this week thing. Oh, okay. Well, I'm assuming if it's 9 p.m. GMT, it's going to be 11 p.m. for me. So yeah, we might start that tomorrow. I'm not going to jump on that this evening. I'm not doing an all-nighter just to play Season of Discovery. We'll have a little bit of a poke about tomorrow. I know you're focused on tasks, but we all know it will spiral into some weird political, existential, or both tangents at some point. Quite possibly. Quite possibly. There's a good chance. Maybe let's start with some auctions, though, shall we? Oh, there's still stuff actually on the auction house. Is the token still crashing? What's the token doing? Token's up to 364 again. The token is doing loop-de-loops. I managed to snag a bunch of tokens at about 320,000 yesterday. But I think I, like many others, are looking at this as an opportunity to cash out some gold, as it seems to go up and down, up and down, up and down. As soon as it seems to bottom out, then a bunch of people buy it and it goes back up again. Where's me, what's the website that we use for tracking the token? I'm kind of interested to see what it's been doing over the last few days. Is it that one? I seem to remember the top search on Google is actually trash. Good old, no, that one's also trash. Why is there so many websites that track the token and all of them are dog shit? Is it that one? Okay, that's slightly better. Slightly better. Because it gives us the comparison between them all. That's not... Okay. EU, US... EU, US. So the US, let's do a month. No, you are not sending me alerts. Right. Wow! Look at that spiky business. Look at that spiky business. But the trend, the spiky business is interesting, but it is trending down still. This was about the date, when was it? Like 17th or something? This was about, this, or 21st even. This was the date the change kicked in. So from a 300k price point over on Team US, it's now down to 250, and it's substantially more solid. EU is going absolutely bananas. Up and down, up and down, up and down every 12 hours, it seems. Literally every 12 hours. It's almost as if... Wow, that is actually genuinely every 12 hours on the dot. 7 a.m. in the morning, it's at its absolute highest point. 7 o'clock in the evening, it's at its basically lowest point. Wow, okay. It's almost like they only update the prices of it, or maybe it's only because this probably only scouts the price once every 12 hours or something. I think it'll be back to quote-unquote normal once the 30 days pass. Maybe. That may be the case, but with only being like a week into this, there's potentially still, you know, room to go. Team NA, though, hasn't really budged much, you know. It's dropped like 15k. It took a big nosedive initially, but when it kicked in, it's hard to gauge kind of what the average price was. Sort of like 300, I think, is what Team NA would have considered reasonably normal, and it's dropped 50k, which is not bad. But yeah, these spikes, what did it go down to yesterday? 318 was the cheapest price it claims here. What does the Wowhead thing do? Because Wowhead on their front page has that little icon, doesn't it? But this shows the lowest point. Lowest was 316 over the last 48 hours for Team EU. I bought some at about 320 yesterday, so I bought some at basically the cheapest price. I cashed out some gold for Blizzard Balance yesterday, but this is because I have imminent purchases ahead of me. I'm potentially going to need, well, need is a yeah. I don't need, but I might. I might potentially be looking at upgrading 4 of my accounts. So I need some Battle.net balance to facilitate that. Team NA, cheapest price, 250. Yeah, okay. It's still going down. If you haven't got that much gold, I think it's still relatively safe to just wait. If you're looking to purchase or pre-purchase the new expansion, I would continue to just wait, because you can see what the trend is doing. It's dropping by... I mean, this is actually... These spikes up in value are not really representative of what the token should be. It's that, like, you buy in the dips. So, I mean, we went from 400k, 380 down to 320. We've dropped 60k off the value of the token in the EU, about 50k off the token on NA. There's no reason to say it won't continuously go down, but with the race to world first over, with more and more people getting more and more resets and more chances at gear, there is less and less reason for people to be buying tokens with their credit card. So it might start to plateau, and then it'll start to go back up again. I seem to only lose gold this expansion. 7 million lost to Dracothis, about 1 mil buying 10 tokens 2 weeks ago. I don't consider buying tokens as losing gold. I consider that just, you know, the fruits. If you are smart about things, you will always never dip below like 10 million gold. Once you get into like real goblin territory where you have the ability to buy tokens with gold occasionally, you probably never want to go below 10 million gold, but anytime you go over like 15, then don't feel bad about cashing some of them out, you know, because it's like, well, if you're only converting the profit, you still leave yourself a nice nest egg. It doesn't really matter too much. Doesn't matter too much at all. Laser, welcome in. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. But yeah, it might sort of plateau a little bit in the next week or two before then slowly I would expect it to go back up again. That's my theory with this at least. Anyway, another squirrel. It's if we need yet more squirrels. Let's actually grab some auctions. What did we sell yesterday? We sold a few bits and pieces. Oh, is this literally everything? Some expireds. Anything of note on here? A Nerubian Persuader. That's a Nax crafted weapon. Probably a few pennies in that for sure. An Ochra Field Signet. This is this is an Emerald Dream ring. An Emerald Dream BOE. 5,500 gold. Some elemental harmonies, some primal alloys, some diamonds that I had laying about, some awakened earth that I had laying about, some spare gems that I had lying about. This is because I probably sent all of that stuff off my paladin to be sold. I wouldn't necessarily say that these are like flips or there's much profit in this. This is just me cleaning some bag space out. You'll have maintenance today also. I don't know. Is the scheduled maintenance? I don't know. I do not know. What I probably should do actually is make sure. Is Season of Mastery? Oh, my games all update automatically anyway. Not Season of Mastery, sorry. Season of Discovery. Flipping hell. Season of this, season of that. Season of Discovery is going to be considered classic, and it's going to be the regular classic, right? There's almost too many variations of the goddamn game nowadays. Far too many variations. Will I play Season of Discovery? I will probably dabble. I like the fact that we only have to get to level 25. And for me, somebody who's probably going to do it while streaming for the most part. Squirrels will do squirrel things. I think that getting a character to level 25 will take us a few days. I can't remember what the leveling cadence really is like in Classic particularly. I've not played Classic almost since Classic came out, if I'm honest. Season of Discovery is the first one that really has attracted me to go and give it a go again. Hardcore kind of got my interest, but Hardcore turned up at a period of time where I was busy doing something else. I can't remember what that something else was. But Season of Discovery, I think, could be quite interesting. What's Season of Discovery about? Just Classic with extra stuff? Yeah, well, there's a level cap of 25. They're switching it up so that you are going to be able to go out into the world and discover things. I don't really know the ins and outs of it, and nor does anybody else. This is Blizzard's attempt to keep things pretty much under wraps, things pretty secret until it goes live. This is kind of the point of it, really, that the player base is going to run out there and discover things. They're going to do there's like a level 25 raid of sorts. Not a new raid. They're taking over one of the dungeons and converting it into I believe, a 10-player raid. For level 25. So you'll find people trying to twink out at level 25 and this sort of stuff. It could be quite fun and interesting. Some new twists on how you can play your classes, like mage, healer, and this sort of stuff. So there's going to be some new spells and abilities. They're just having fun with it, I think. I think they're just messing about and having fun with it, which is the main thing. Why did I log onto this account? I logged onto this account for a reason, and I don't know why. I don't know why. Let's do some auctions. Massively distracted with everything today. Makes sense to slow it down, as you usually just blast through the leveling phase. This is it, right? They're going to slowly, over time. I don't think they've completely said what the cadence is going to be. I would suspect that they'll, every 4 weeks, every 6 weeks, something like that, they'll increase the level cap. And it means that you'll have plenty of time to get to the level cap and to, gear out at that level cap and try and figure out, right, at level 25, what's your best gear for, level 25 bis, and then they'll up it to 35, and it'll be level 35 bis, and until obviously in 6 months' time everybody has the ability to hit level 60, and then it's just classic again, isn't it? And then then they'll do something different. But it sounds quite interesting. I've genuinely not looked into it too much, but there's not too much to look into because it's very deliberately, they've closed the doors so people don't know everything about it before it goes live. I'm not going to lie, it's going to be very good for streamers. It's probably going to be very good for content creators in general. I've even heard that they are going to share some secrets with certain prominent content creators. I don't know how that's going to work, though, but even that is interesting. Platinum WoW released a video on WoW's YouTube channel. Oh, that's he. Hang on, let me have a little look-skis. Oh, what's new in Classic Season of Discovery featuring Platinum WoW? Well, there we go. There's some React Dandy, if ever I've seen it. That one. Hang on, I've now also got to remember to turn the music off in-game. You may have noticed I've opted out from playing music on my stream recently, other than in-game music. This is partly due to being on YouTube, but partly due to, I think it's probably just sensible to not be playing copyright music much. Right, let's see what's going on with this then.
The drums of war sound again, and the newest experience being added to Classic WoW is the Season of Discovery. A familiar, yet different classic experience which focuses on exploration, open-world activities, and wild, never-before-seen player progression with unique gameplay. I'm Platinum WoW, and let's uncover all of the cool new features in this unique classic experience. First, let's start with the discovery aspect of the season. All around Azeroth, we see our favorite locations, monsters, quests, loot, and experiences. But with some unique twists, like hidden areas, never-before-seen quests, and new monsters. Hidden amongst these little discoveries, you might find the
Rune of Chimera. Hunter ability teaches you a new engraving ability. Okay. I'll do my best not to be a Paul's Andy too much here, but for tooltips, it sometimes takes a second for us to read it.
Season of Discovery's most exciting feature, runes. Runes are items that you can engrave on your armor, which kind of work like a secondary enchantment. These runes can provide active or passive abilities from future expansions or entirely new ones that can change the playstyle of your class. Some examples include paladins with Avenger's Shield, priests summoning an army of void minions, or totally role-defining runes like warlocks, shamans, and rogues now being able to tank, or mages being able to heal with time magic.
What's this? Mass regeneration then? This is a mage ability, heals all party members within 15 yards of your current target for 184 health over 3 seconds, and applies a temporal beacon to each target for 15 seconds. Records the subject's space-time position. 100% of all arcane damage done by the caster will be converted to chromatic healing and divided amongst the caster's current temporal beacon targets. Ha! Okay, that's actually quite cool. Arcane mages are going to end up healing half your party at the same time. That's pretty cool. Imagine a gnome healer. This does look quite cool.
Another core feature of the Season of Discovery is level banded content. When the servers are first released...
Okay, so max level starts at 25, then will be raised to 40, 50, and then finally 60. So there's going to be 4 phases of the Season of Discovery, and within each phase you'll be able to twink out till your heart's content and get all of the gear for a while until the level cap then raises. Okay.
All players will have a max level of 25, and then over time it will be raised to 40, then 50, and finally 60.
Strength and...
Oh god, does 25 mean nobody's going to have a mount? Nobody is going to have a mount for this first phase. Only when it raises to 40 will you be able to go and get your mount. Damn, see, this is something that... you know, not being a classic Andy, particularly myself, I forget these things, that you don't even get the ability to mount up until you're level 40 in classic, which, you know, by today's standards is just mind-blowing that you make a brand new level 10 allied race that can instantly mount up. You've never had to walk anywhere. Okay.
Honor.
The unique thing about this is that for each level bracket, there will be new, never-before-seen endgame content that players can participate in. For level 25, the Black Fathom Deep Dungeon will be transformed into a 10-player raid, with new bosses, mechanics, and loot.
Taboo!
Each level bracket will have a new raid, and are aimed to be approachable to most players, but interesting enough to provide a challenge with a difficulty akin to the original raids of Classic WoW. But when you're traveling to the...
akin to the original difficulty of Classic WoW, so a pushover then, right? By today's standards. If they are akin to the same difficulty level as they used to be, they will be a breeze. This should hopefully make it very casual friendly. We like that a lot.
The new Black Fathom Deep's raid, be careful, as the contested zone of Ashenvale is now rife with conflict. Another new feature is Battle for Ashenvale. This new feature transforms
world
the zone
PvP
into a
activity.
world PvP hotspot,
Okay.
where Horde and Alliance players will battle over territory and defeat enemy war masters and leaders in something similar to Alterac Valley.
Cool.
With this event, you can earn reputation with the Silverwing Sentinels or the Warsong Outriders, and obtain new rewards like mounts that can only be ridden in Ashenvale,
Oh,
new
we will get
helms,
some mounts,
and
okay.
weapons. This is just a brief summary of the content being introduced in the Season of Discovery, and there will be so much more to explore within the future phases of these seasonal servers. Altogether, this experience is about Azeroth being the main character. It's about exploring undiscovered lands, creating unique builds for your character, battling the enemy faction in world PvP events, and delving into new raids with your guildmates. Now is the perfect time to return to the world of Azeroth and explore the familiar yet different lands in the Season of Discovery.
Actually sounds pretty cool, you know. Actually sounds pretty cool. It was always going to be See, there's been a lot of influence. There's been a lot of crossover at Blizzard between the quite easy to see success of the seasonal content in Diablo 3. Diablo 3 was dead as a dodo. As soon as they started implementing seasonal content, Blizzard were clearly able to see that, hang on, this keeps people interested. This keeps people coming back. Now, the question being of whether that really works for World of Warcraft is debatable. But we've already started to see we've definitely more than started to see. The classic, they're utilizing the classic play style to do this seasonal content. And it's, so far, I think it's working pretty well. And this also means that they don't need every single season to be a massive success. If they can try something out, if it works, great, learn from it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't matter because it's going in the bin in 6 months. Which I think is a really, really good way for Blizzard to actually figure out what works and what doesn't. Because they're clearly, whether they would admit it or not, struggling for ideas. And are taking a lot of influence from the player base. I mean, hardcore probably only existed because of that one add-on that simulated hardcore in Classic anyway. If that add-on hadn't turned up, I doubt we'd have ever had like a Classic hardcore thing. It was the community that came together, figured that out, told Blizzard, unequivocally that this works, and so they just did it. Now that Season of Discovery, we'll see how this works with, some funky class changes, like level capping. It might be nice as well. Level 25 is definitely manageable for people, depending on how quickly they do release these patches, mind. Level 25 definitely feels like it's a comfortable way for people to play a couple of different classes as well, which was never something that you could really do with Classic. The grind to 60 was so time intensive that people had 1, maybe 2 characters. Putting these level caps in might mean that players can make like 2 or 3 level 25s quite comfortably, and then, level them up to 40, rise them all up equally, which could be quite cool. The season's kept D2 alive for 20 years. Makes sense to D3. Yeah, I mean, like I said, Diablo is clearly, obviously, a very different game. But, Blizzard is Blizzard. So there's clearly some crossover there. We've seen, and I mean, Delves coming in the War Within screams Greater Rifts. Absolutely screams Greater Rifts. The fact that there's going to be X amount of them, there's going to be a little NPC that runs through there with you. They're going to be semi-procedurally generated. They just scream Greater Rifts to me. There is clearly some people who have worked on Diablo and now also working on World of Warcraft. And have clearly, they've brought their expertise from one area in one game over, I think. So it could be quite interesting. This goes live later today, though. Later today. In a matter of hours, actually, technically, by this point. What time is it now? It's nearly midday for me. Nearly midday. This goes live in about 11 hours' time. In about 12 hours' time, you'll be able to play Season of Discovery. We'll probably jump in and play it tomorrow. What I don't know is how many servers are there going to be? Are they going to try, I can't imagine they're going to release many servers, are they? They're going to want every server to be reasonably populated. Is there anything here that indicates Season of Discovery meme roundup? No, I don't need meme roundups, thanks. Trading post items data mined. We'll have a look at that in a minute. Oh, Method of finally down Farak. GG Method, well done. 449 pulls. Sheesh. Frack is down. Top 3 spots have been claimed. Nice. These are December's trading post stuff, which presumably doesn't come out till tomorrow. We'll look at that again in a minute. Class and role overview guides on Wowhead for Season of Discovery. I'm not too fussed about that. Okay, this is kind of this is the thing, right? They're holding a lot of the information back until it actually goes live. What is this? What in the world is this? Buttercup the baby moose? You know, it looks like a moose unicorn. Killed him yesterday, but he's still flying around the zone. Yeah, he should disappear if you've killed him. Yeah, he should. Oh my god, look at this moose. Oh lord. His pink antlers make him the life of any party. Sure, okay. So this is the bonus reward. Whoa, what happened to my screen then? Oh. Oh, thank... This is Wowhead once again doing a... Alright. December 23 Trading Post Rewards. We have Mitzi. Is the images of all of this stuff. So, Candied... it's all Christmas themed now. Rudolph. Rudolph in disguise. A Crimson Glimmerfur pet. So that's what? 2 pets... Or is that a mount? Oh, that's a mount. Okay. Crimson Glimmerfur's a mount. What do we got here? Class sets for Evoker. The Hunter one. Being a Hunter main, I kind of half feel I should pick this up. But the reality for me is I don't care about transmog. you guys may have figured that out already. We get some mage stuff. These little green hovering glowy balls on a. We've already got icicles on. Okay. Oh, that's quite nice though. Blizzard are. There's no denying Blizzard are leveling up their transmog over the years. They definitely are making it look better. We have pixels now. We have high definition everything everywhere. It's much, much better. The art team does some serious work for this game. The art team really does pull it out the bag. The Scarlet Zealot's trappings. That's quite cool, you know. That's quite cool. The only thing when it comes to some of the transmogs is that the what's the right word for this? What's the right word for this? The skeleton, the mesh. What's the right? I guess it's the mesh that the armor is built upon. So like here, for example, you've got these tassels. I know it's meant to be like a robe sort of thing, but these tassels should be a thing, right? They should be a thing. Why are the tassels not, you know, because they should flop about when you run, for example, rather than just being like printed on. What a lot of the mod in WoW feels like is if you've been flicking through Facebook or Instagram or something and you buy one of those. If you get suckered into buying one of those like sweatshirts that gets made in China and shipped straight to your house, that always look really good in the pictures, but when you get them, you realize it's just somebody has printed that pattern on a generic shirt. That's kind of what a lot of this looks like. You know, you get sold that and you think, oh, this is cool. It's got this belt that ties up and it's got tassels and whatever. But actually, when you get it, they're just printed on. And you're like, oh, Now this looks stupid. Those tassels are in the robe. That's why it need to be a waist part of it to have the geometry. Yeah, well, they should. The belt, you know, if it's a set, if it's being sold to you as a set, if you put the set on, yeah, Mog bought from wowwish.com. Yeah, it does a little bit feel like that sometimes. Blizzard does something amazing though. They show a picture of a shitty cloth robe and still sells like butter for $29.99. Oh, that's true. Why level up if you can sell it for more anyway? Some boots, some headpiece, Wildhammer Scouts headgear, a funky old school, almost Roman Emperor helm, Crusader helm. Okay. Some massive, great big blue balls. If you would like blue balls, Blizzard can sell you blue balls. We are nearly at the end of No Nut November, so you can also have your own blue balls for the low price of 200 traders tender. You can buy your own blue balls. Hang on, that's a Wowhead shirt. They've got their own shirt in game with their logo on it. I have never noticed that. Clever. That headgear looks dangerous. Going to poke your eyes out. Yeah, it might do. A friend of mine has a t-shirt which looks like male armor. Pretty funny if you look at it from... Yeah, if you squint or look at it from a distance, yeah. Classic snowy tabard. Okay. Some craftsman timber mallet, chipped gladius, glittering fell gavel. Oh, this is quite cool. They've took a big stone and turned it into a gavel. Nice. Lost Crusaders Azure battle axe, Blade Master's thundering greatsword. This is all the cheap shit, right? This is all the cheap shit at the bottom that you never buy because you've run out of traders tender from buying the mounts. Regal Stormhammer matches the Storm Riders attire set available from Heroic or the Epic War Within pre-orders. Oh, clever. So if you've already given Blizzard a bunch of money, and you've already given them so much money that you have the new Storm Riders attire set from pre-ordering the War Within, now you have the ability to purchase a matching Stormhammer to go with. I see, very clever. Additional lighting and glowy effects and matches the upgrades Thundering Storm Riders attire set available completing special Storm Rider races on your Algarian Storm Rider. Oh, that quest has been in my quest log for ages and I've not figured out what the hell it was for. Now I understand why. Oh, it does. Oh, annoyingly, it does look kind of quite cool though, doesn't it? It does look kind of quite cool. Nice. Okay. Well, that's our December trading post stuff to look forward to. The images that Blizzard put out are clearly photoshopped because they look significantly more punchy and more vibrant when Blizzard does the mock-up art for them. They've cranked the color to 11 compared to what they then look like when you buy them in game. Good use of Photoshop there, Blizzard. Well done. Oh, this dude's back again. This dude was in the shop a while ago. Are we now in rotation mode? We must be. Yellow. Yellow? Why did I look at that and say yellow? Some red sets and some white sets for the RP weddings, clearly. Red dress is very Christmassy attire. Pair it up with some green stuff. There's the boots. A sarong. Oh, that's actually quite cool, isn't it? It gives you the chest, the cloak, and the shield. Oh, that all together is actually quite smart. That is quite cool, actually. I wouldn't complain if they put the auction house dino in. Well, you and me both. I think everybody would love if the long boy was up there. Best way for Blizzard to, if Blizzard, see, you know, this is one of those things they'll keep up the, you know, it's an ace up their sleeve, right? Soon as Blizzard has a quiet quarter, they'll put the long boy in the traders, they'll put the long boy up for traders tender, and then there'll be a one-time only purchase of 5,000 traders tender for the low price of $99.99, and all of a sudden Blizzard will go from having a low revenue quarter to a booming quarter. We mentioned the blue balls with your accompanying tennis ball. It's even got the white line running through it. It literally is a tennis ball. Okay, my dog would love that. Whoa, okay. Is that a small man or is that a big sword? Or was he just pleased to see me? Sheesh. There's the thundering hammer. Oh God! Look at these silly things. You know what? Those candy canes. If you just, you know, if you don't chew a candy cane, because it's just sugar, if you suck it, I got to be very careful how you phrase this. They do get very pointy and very sharp. So I guess that kind of makes sense. I guess it works. That's a nice helmet. Nice shiny helmet. Looks like a BDSM joke. Oh, God. They'll sell it with some transmog, so technically the tender becomes a free bonus. Yeah, of course. Of course. Silly Twitch, give me my Prime availability already. I will not go to McDonald's. No. Are you getting McDonald's ads? I suppose it's better than Hesburger ads, though, right? Or I should gauge my audience here. Are you a McDonald's or are you a Hesburger? For reference, Hesburger is a burger joint in Finland. McDonald's have invaded and taken over the southern of Finland. But historically, Hesburger is like the go-to burger joint. I'd rather have a Hesburger. Oh, okay. That's quite a cool axe, actually. And then a silly Buttercup the baby moose. His pink antlers make him the life of any party. Okay, sure. Should we actually play some games, though? Should we actually do some stuff? Did somebody say Control M is music? It is. Burger King? I still think Burger King do the best burgers. McDonald's used to get the crown for the best fries, but they've gone downhill somehow. I don't know how they've managed to go downhill with their fries. In fact, I'll tell you exactly why they've gone downhill with their fries. They cook them in the same oil far too long, so they taste funny, and then they go soggy because the oil's not been hot enough. And then they don't put enough salt on them. Fix those two things, McDonald's, and you claim top spot for fries again. Their milkshakes have also gone downhill because they tried to make their milkshakes like not so unhealthy. If you're having a milkshake, it better give me a heart attack after. Otherwise, it's not a good milkshake. McDonald's is going down the pan. It really is. It's going down the pan. Maybe we just post what we got in our bags then. Until stuff expires. I don't know why McDonald's fries have turned bad. I'll tell you. Well, I suddenly figured it out. You know, eureka moment, right? Eureka moment. Sometimes when it comes to you. I used to work at McDonald's 16, 17 years ago. They had a limited burger called Juice something, the best burger ever. Now, 16, 17 years ago, McDonald's was in its prime. Absolutely in its prime. It's not in its prime anymore. Wow! 424 trinket. 10k. Get in. The irony with a lot of this stuff is that it's you'd be smart to go and hoover this stuff up for like 150 gold off a cheap realm and then take it to a big realm where it actually sells. I should just put these all in a group and let TSM do it properly, but I'm being lazy. Oh, I've just had a thought. I wonder if Zygore's going to work in Season of Discovery. It probably should, shouldn't it? Oh, that also reminds me. I need to speak to the guys over at Zygore and get you lot a discount code. I need to get you guys a discount code. I've been affiliated with Zygore for long enough now. I've brought them plenty enough business. They need to do me a solid and give me a discount code. I just thought of that yeah. Are you still happy that you went to the Horde and to Draenor? The impact of moving to a fully pop server from where I was previously is less than I expected, but I still truly think that being on the larger server, on the more prominent faction, will long-term pay dividends, right? I think it will still...
Goodbye.
I think overall it was a smart move. I've not capitalized on the opportunity so much now yet. But I do think that long term it was a smart play. I was easily a big fish in a small pond on my previous realm, which for legendaries was alright. But I wanted to, you know, if anything even remotely like legendaries turns up ever again, trying to be a big fish in a big pond is much better. Much better. Okay, I actually need to start posting some of my pets. That's realistically one of the main things I wanted to do today. Let's start the ball rolling with this. I'm going to alternate this a little bit to keep things feeling a touch fresh. I'm going to alternate between posting some pets on one character and then running a dungeon on my new alt that I'll talk about a little bit more in a second. Does the faction matter? Isn't the auction house and crafting orders faction mixed? True, but, you know, just generally speaking, that, you know, heaven forbid if I actually want to do something other than the gold making side of stuff. Being on the right faction then is considerably more important. It's becoming less and less important as time goes on, as more and more things are being cross-faction and cross-server and all of this sort of stuff, but... it wasn't strictly for a goblin-esque reason, but... let me just check something real quick. Yeah, that's still broken. I need to disable rematch, which is something I'm not sure I want to do on all of my... Can't really take advantage of trade chat if you're on the minority faction. Well, that's true. If I was to dedicate any time to selling or trying to shift crafting order, yeah, if I was to designate any time to trade chat spam to try and sell my wares, then you do want to be on the right faction for sure. So actually, realistically, there probably are more reasons for me to be on the right faction than not. I'm alliance over on Twisting Nether. If I need something crafted, I have to log into my Horde alt to check trade chat. Yeah, see, that's just more often than not going to get frustrating. Never got into pet selling. Is it easy to set up? Relatively easy to set up. The complicated part about pet selling is building your inventory in the first place. You probably do not want to get into... Let's put it this way. You're not going to see any significant results from selling pets on multiple servers until you are at least on 5 or 6 different servers and you're posting 100+ pets on each of those. It's kind of got the same vibes as transmog in that regard, that you need a big inventory. And of course, if you are buying and selling pets, then you want to be buying them cheap and then selling them for more, clearly. So it's going to take you some time to build that stockpile. I think I spent somewhere in the region of about 20 million gold-ish on cheap pets over a 30-60 day period to build my inventory to start with. And now, to be honest, I'm not focused on it too much. It's mostly just ticking over. I'm just making sure I'm relisting what I've still got, and buying a few things here or there when I see a deal. But I'm not actually that heavily focused on it right now. But in between, what I actually want to do is I want to get a few dungeon runs done on my druid. This, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, some of you may have spotted this in the last couple of days on the stream, is my level 11 guardian druid. Sounds ludicrous, right? Level 11. Why the hell have you got a level 11 druid that is... Why is he not experience capped? He is, but he doesn't say he is. That worries me before I stroll into a dungeon and start gaining loads of experience. He's meant to be XP off. Very deliberately. Give me my red bandana. Why do I not have a red bandana? Why do I not have a red bandana? Oh. Now I have the red bandana. Okay. Probably visual glitch. Experience gains are disabled. So yeah, what am I doing with this dude? Well, this dude is going to become very useful for me for when it comes to leveling up a bunch of characters at the same time. For any of you that may have watched Zanzaful on his stream over the last year or
Just
so,
glad to see me.
you'll have seen him leveling
Well, I
up
hope.
lots of characters by running dungeons, and he's using a Twink character, as it's called, a low level character that's got their experience capped off, so they can't gain any more, but are significantly stronger than they probably should be at that level, giving them the ability to do silly things like solo dungeons. Bear with a tier 1, appreciate that. Welcome in, good morning to you. Hope you are well. Who's this Zanzibar guy you're talking about? Yeah, who's this crazy fella that's got all of the alts? I have decided there was the choice of going between a low-level monk. Monk works very well for this. I decided to try out a druid. I've seen lots of people do, or lots of people make monks. I think that druid probably works equally as well. Or, well, we'll see. They're not too difficult to make. They're just a bit timely to gear up and level up. But this dude, basically, is level 11, and I'm slowly but surely stacking an ungodly amount of gear on this character and getting him to a point where he can just run through dungeons and solo the place, no issues whatsoever. The addition in Dragonflight for this kind of game mode is that you can now get Warforged gear from a couple of select Warlords of Draenor dungeons. So item level 62 gear on a level 11 character is redonkulous. Absolutely silly. This gives you like massive amounts of power gain. Very, not necessarily quickly, but easily. Farming the Warforged gear is the most depressing experience ever. It's tough, right? I do 10 runs, and in 10 runs, I'm lucky if I get one piece of the Warforged gear. I'm now on this dude after... What's my playtime on him, actually? 10 hours of playtime on this fella in the last couple of days. So in 10 hours of playtime, I've got my Guardian Druid to item level 42. I've got some notable things, though. There's this trinket that's just broken. Indefinitely divisible ooze. This thing is broken. I can't understand why it's broken, but it's broken. This thing basically one-shots bosses. It only does it in certain content, though, which is odd. But it's quite widely known to just be broken and super, super powerful. Annoying to farm for, though. Probably half of my playtime was farming this thing. But now I've got it, it's quite fun. I might have missed the point because my stream buffed. Is it for making an alt army? If so, how? It's mostly so that I can pair up this character with 4 other accounts. I've not set these accounts or the characters up yet. This is not something that's really possible for everybody to do because it can end up being quite costly, either money-wise or gold-wise, depending on how you pay for your World of Warcraft. It's basically 5-box multi-boxing. We don't technically party everything up. There are some things that you need to be aware of, but you basically run 5 accounts and you use this one super duper overpowered character that can practically run the dungeon solo to boost the other 4 characters, and the other 4 characters gain the experience and slowly level up. I was doing some testing the other day. 10 to 60 can be done in about 4 hours. 10 to 60 is about 4 hours if if you focus and you blast, right? And that's obviously on one character. If you use a relatively optimal leveling guide, you can get from 10 to 60 in roughly 4 hours. Now, if I was to do dungeon boosting this way, it would take me probably 5 or 6 hours, but I'd get 4 characters leveled up at the same time. So it's going to take me longer to go from 10 to 60, but I'll have the luxury of getting 4 characters leveled up all at the same time. So overall, it becomes a time-saving adventure if you're looking to do it a lot. I'd like to get probably 20, 30, 40 characters leveled up this way. We've got 12 months to kill between now and the new expansion, and I think it'd be good to get some characters leveled up either way, because there's always something you can do, right? I'm probably, Zan's probably sat there chuckling to himself because I'm very late to the party on this one. But it's, I think it'll be good for two reasons. One, because I want to spread a bunch of characters out, and I want to put a bunch of characters, when I say spread them out, I mean dot them around the map. I want to have them dotted around the map at like rare spawn locations. So you can log them on. If the rare spawn's there, kill it, maybe get some loot off it, log it off. Right? Super quick, super easy stuff. And a lot of that requires you to have just a lot of characters. I also want to get a bunch of characters on a bunch of different servers, because even when we get war bans in the new expansion, I still think there's going to be really good opportunities available for when you've got players on the individual servers still, for cross-realm arbitrage selling purposes. And if there's something that ends up ridiculous, like Dracothists, where all of a sudden having 50 alts becomes a big benefit, then hey presto, you've kind of got it ready. That's kind of my plan, right? How many did you say? Well, it doesn't... to me, I would like to get 10 characters leveled up on each of the additional 4 accounts. So 40, I think, is quite a reasonable number to achieve. And I don't think it would take me too long to achieve that. Yeah, this druid fella is basically boosting. If I show you now, right, I can run through this. And this is a regular dungeon where I should... this technically is a 5-player dungeon. But my gear is now scaled so much so already that I can run through this and I can practically solo it. In fact, I can solo it. I'm going to get stunned here. This is not... This dude was meant to die faster than this, but this is because I'm still leveling the gear up. I'm not quite as OP as I need to be. I need to kill this dude. There we go. Once he is dead, we're good. This first pull was an absolute terrible display of what this can do, because I nearly died. But when I actually pay attention to what I'm doing, which is very infrequent on stream, as you guys will know, we can basically run through and we do enough damage because our gear is scaled so high that everything just melts. And what it means is I can, at the moment, I'm just running these dungeons solo to gear myself up. But eventually, what I'll do is I'll have my 4 other accounts just chilling. Whether they be on follow or they just stay at the start of the instance, I don't think really matters. But you have your other 4 accounts in here as well. Now, there is some semi-shenanigans you need to do, because this little debuff you have here, right? The fact that I've chosen to eliminate experience gains means if I was to party my other 4 accounts up with this fella, all my other 4 accounts would get basically a massive XP gain debuff as well. So you do kind of need to do some shenanigans to get around that, but it's entirely plausible to do. It falls under clever use of game mechanics more than anything else. And so now, even though this is a boss and I've got ads and stuff like that, I'm relatively comfortably just killing this dude. No problems whatsoever. And this is one of only 2 dungeons in Warlords of Draenor that can drop gear appropriate to this character at this level. And on the very rare occasion it warforges, it's stupidly high item level. So default gear is item level 36, which, to point out, is still pretty good gear, generally speaking, for a level 11 character, right? The reason this works is because the game scales everything nowadays, and the scaling is not broken, but way more effective at the lower levels. The game thinks, because I've got nearly 100 agility on this character, right? The game thinks and the game levels things up and the game scales things, and it assumes that at a level 11, you should probably have 20 to 25 agility. But because you're able to get such high-powered gear on such a low-level character, if you look at the stats on some of this, 9 agility, 13 stamina, 2 agility, 3 stamina. You can like double, almost triple the amount of stats that your character has. So the game scales everything to your level, but you are like 2 or 3 times more powerful than you really should be at this level. And this is why level 10, 11s are like super OP. Even if you just put heirlooms on a level 10 character and then go run a dungeon, you absolutely blast. You'll have level 60s also in your group. Level 60s, level 40s, level 50s that look at your DPS from their screen and think something crazy is going on because you are just absolutely blasting. Any particular reason why I went level 11 instead of 10? Yes, there is a very deliberate reason I'm level 11 instead of 10, and that's because of the talents. At level 10, you get access to improved swipe, giving your swipe damage 100% bonus, which is partly the reason I can just carve through everything. But at level 11, you also get your first point in Guardian, which gives you Maul. Swipe is obviously very good for just when you're running through and you just clear through the trash. You then switch over to using Maul on cooldown pretty much, or once you've generated enough rage at least. This is better for like killing the bosses. Killing the bosses, you can get them down much faster using Maul. And being only 1 level higher than level 10 still means that the scaling works 99% in your favour. I've missed the main point, why do it in the first place? Simply so that I can practically boost 4 of my alt accounts all at the same time. This isn't really something you'd particularly do other than for like shits and giggles, really. On a single account. You could, in theory, if you were smart about this, also sell boosts to people. It becomes a little bit tricky because you'd need to get 4 people. You'd need to make sure that you cover all of the different roles. So you can obviously only cover 1 role. So you would probably be you'd need to find a tank or a healer that want boosting and 3 DPS that want boosting. Then you'd all need to get into like a Discord call or a Skype call or whatever. To synergize grouping together in a way that causes them to not get a massive XP debuff. It's not a simple process to sell boosting this way. There's probably other quicker, more simple ways of doing a 1 to 60 boost or a 10 to 60 boost. But, you know, it's fun to go into a random dungeon and just absolutely slap and have people question marking in the chat like, what the hell's going on? Why is this level 10 druid doing 5 times my DPS? And you got level 60s moulding out because they don't know what's going on. It's just quite amusing. See, it doesn't show me as doing like much DPS, but if there was other people in this group, you know, considering this is a 10 to 60 dungeon, if there were other people in this group, it would appear as if I was doing like 4 times their DPS because my gear's just scaled up the wazoo already, and I'm barely even what I consider half leveled. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Warforged pieces of gear. I'm actually trying to target farm the weapon right now. There's this exact weapon, but Warforged becomes silly OP. That's why I'm just killing the first boss in here right now. Is there a guide on this sort of setup for alt armies? Zan has some good stuff already. It's worthwhile checking out some of Zan's stuff. If he's still lurking, feel free to drop some links for people. Zan's got a handful of videos that go over this. There's Discords, there's forums that are worthwhile checking out. The TLDR is pretty simple. Make a level 10, cap their experience, put on your heirlooms. Just heirlooms alone should get you to the point where you can probably slowly but surely solo the dungeons yourself. Alternatively, you could just queue up for dungeons and have other people join as well to help you out. It just means you're going to have that time between dungeons where you're waiting for others, and of course the loot is going to be shared between you and them. Doing it solo obviously means that you get all of the loot. Or basically a piece of loot off every boss. That's kind of the important thing. Can't use lifesteal on the epic version. No, that's probably true. But the item level increase and the power increase will you can put like siphoning on there or something. I mean, it's a druid, you know, frenzy regen basically means I don't particularly need lifesteal anyway. A little bit of leech on the gear and it'll be more than fine. Is my understanding. You can see its health is not really a problem. The only time I have any health related issues in here, to be honest, right now, is if I accidentally get 10 seconds stunned by one of the mobs in here. There's one specific mob in this dungeon that does a 10-second stun on you, which is just annoying. You just have to kill him first. So realistically at the moment, what I really need to do is just run this dungeon 10 times pretty quickly. Hit instance lockout and then go do something else for half an hour. Honestly as well, for people who are just like semi-bored, like XP capping a level 10 or a level 20 or a level 30 character can just be quite fun. Because this is what the Season of Discovery is going to showcase to people. That if you artificially limit how far you can go, you can sort of twink out. People have got, like, you know, how people have time walking sets of gear. It's the same sort of theory. You're just trying to gear up a character to be OP. And luckily, because you have scaling in the game right now, it can be useful in multiple places. The end game gearing grind can get very, very repetitive and very dull because it's practically the same every patch. Whereas if you start making like a time walking set, or you start making some twink characters that are super powerful at low levels, this sort of stuff, it can be quite fun. Yeah, that, what's his name? The Overseer is the dude you want to kill in here. These little 2-second stuns are not problematic. It's the 10-second stun that those guys do. Apart from that, I can pretty much blindly run through and tag everything in this dungeon, and we're fine. Well, pulled another one. This could end badly. As long as he doesn't do his subjugate thing. There we go. We're fine. I'm obviously doing this on a druid, but there are a bunch of different options and possibilities. Realistically, most level 10 characters with a little bit of extra bonus gear on them are just like silly OP. It's really ridiculous. You could have like arcane mages, I think, are a relatively popular one. Priests also do quite well. Anything that's got an early AoE will do quite well. But you could technically do anything you liked, really. I chose a druid just because it seems to be quite popular, but I've also seen a lot of people do monks. There's a good chance I might level a monk as well. I say level, gear up, twink a monk out. Just for some compare and contrast. It's not just the AoE. Mage's biggest plus is being able to blast a boss in 2 globals. Yeah, that definitely helps. Ah, I got the right item, but it didn't Warforge. Paladin gets Consecration at 10. Consecration might work quite nicely. The problem is you can't do it so much on the move. I think the reason the monk excels is because they get access to quite a lot of movement. Druid works quite well because you've obviously got, you can go into cat form and you've got your dash ability. Having the 4 extra characters for trade would speed it up. Your level in the trading rules. Trading rules are different. Would actually having the 4 others following, because it would just share the loot out, right? Would you then get 2 drops per boss? Technically. Instead of just the 1. At the moment, I'm guaranteed 1 every run, but would 4 then up the quantity of loot that drops from the boss to 2? And of course, you could theoretically trade it all around. If you were level 10, you could trade normally and would have 2 drops. Is that how it works? See, there's lots of weird shenanigans that goes on in this game nowadays because of all the scaling. But at 11 you need to have the same or higher item level already equipped, so it wouldn't be faster. Or what if the others were also level 11? Or your others were level 12? Couldn't you just level lock 4 level 12s? I don't know. I'm sure there's probably... there's an optimization for everything in this game nowadays. This is one thing I've learned playing this game over the years. It's nearly impossible to be 100% optimal at anything you want to do. Either way, I don't mind. Like... optimal for speed would be to start over at 10 and bring 4 more. Maybe. I'm not doing it again though. You know, we might try that sort of thing out if I make a monk. Like I said, I'm relatively new to this. It's It's nothing more than a day or two's worth of initial research, trying to figure this out. And to be honest, there's not actually a huge amount of resources out there for this sort of stuff. You know, the odd forum post, the odd Reddit thread here and there. Big brain would be to get all 4 armor classes at level 10 and have them follow a 70. What's the big brain there? Oh, is that the big brain for transmog appearance collecting? I don't understand what that big brain is for. How's that bigger brain? Warrior, resto shaman, mage, and a monk. It just gets different classes ready at the same time. Oh, I see. Yeah, I guess that kind of, yeah, maybe. Didn't Student have a video on best gear for Twinks? I don't know, maybe. The only ones I actually stumbled across is I actually stumbled across a lot of Zan's videos naturally. I didn't see any by Student, but Student has a video on everything. When you post a video every day and he's done it for like 6 years, you end up with a video on everything. This dude at the back's always annoying because he never follows me. Now, I mean, I'm still sort of cautiously pulling things in packs. But I probably, if I was actually paying attention, could just zerg through this entire thing and not worry about any of the trash. The trash would just passively melt as I go do other things. But slow and steady wins the race, in my opinion. They banned me when I was Twink boosting myself like a month ago. I don't think they like it anymore. Why would they ban you? You're not strictly doing anything wrong. Is it maybe that you caught, you know, if you ever at any point involve the public, you're going to have problems. I know Zanzibar had this issue that he was catching reports off people because they didn't believe what he was doing was legit. Because you are just too powerful. You know, and this is why I generally tend to think that multi-boxing, whilst there is nothing inherently against the rules with doing it, is going to be slightly problematic because other people will see you doing it and will report you just because they don't like that you're doing it, regardless of whether it's legit or not. One was for RMT, one for hacking. I don't do either. I'm convinced it was a false positive. I was in a group with myself the entire time. I don't know. Yeah, in that scenario, I don't know. There's always this thing, right? Because if you know, there's damage limitation. If you, like I said, if you go out in public whilst you're multi-boxing, you're going to have issues quite quickly. You're going to have to deal with the occasional false positive, you know, report. Because you're going to come across characters that will dislike what it is you're doing and will report you just because they don't like what you're doing. And if, for as long as Blizzard have an automated system, it's always going to be open to abuse, which is an issue, I think. But there is no other way. The game is just too big now for them to actually manually do everything. They have to put some automation in. The fact that they are consistently banning 100,000 accounts every single month. If you just think how much time and effort and how many people it would take to do that manually, you start to understand why they have to automate a lot of this stuff. Dragonflight soundtrack on WoD Dungeons. What world is this? Oh, you've... I've just realised you've probably got audio from my other account that's open in the background. I've probably routed the wrong game's audio. We're not getting lucky. We are not getting lucky. I'm not against the automation, but how the hell did they conclude that either of those things when reviewing manually? I haven't done it, but oh well. I don't know. I don't know. If I understand correctly that somebody in your position with so many characters are probably transferring large sums of gold between different characters on different accounts on a semi-regular basis, it's probably a red flag at the very least. Even though it's, you know, completely above board. How are we doing, Sacco? Welcome in, though, by the way. They probably want a cash grab for accounts who haven't paid real money for a sub before they do another huge ban wave. I don't think Blizzard are really, like... There's definitely an element of cash grab sometimes from Blizzard because, well, they are a business, right? But I don't think wherever bots are concerned, there's any form of cash grabbing. If they were cash grabbing, they wouldn't ban as many accounts as they do, realistically. It's, oh, I need to disable rematch on every one of my accounts. That's going to be annoying. Collections, pets, cage up any pets. Right, post them. Don't forget, they don't just ban you for what you're doing at the moment. The context matters. Well, yeah, this is it, right? They accumulate a list of bad actors over a period of probably a month or two, and then they'll ban everybody in one go. Honor Buddy was about for years. Yeah, but you're also referencing something that hasn't been a thing for over a decade now. So I don't think the honor buddy argument really works. You know, it's something that, you know, that's old news. They're also a much smaller company. Wasn't the limitation for buying tokens only for NA because the price has not gone down in EU region? Oh, the price has gone down in EU. It just depends when you look at it. The EU price is like a yo-yo right now. The price has gone down about as much in the EU as it has on the NA. It was for both regions. It's just very spiky at the moment in the EU. But the actual the trough of the valleys, the low points are trending downwards, just like they are on the NA realms. I was able to snag a bunch of tokens yesterday for about 320k a piece in the EU. Oh, hang on, what's going on here? We had a sneaky... Oh, it's a snail, that's fine. I was wondering why it had a different group on it. Made the 8 characters, went into the dungeon, and then after 8 hours of that, they permit them. I don't know. I think, you know, by design, genuinely by design, we know very little about how Blizzard deals. Let's call it, you know, this game security. We know very, very little on what it is they do, when they do it, or even why they do it, and that is entirely by design. Totally by design, I think. Super fresh BattleNet specifically did nothing on it, and that's probably almost a red flag in and of itself. You know, most people do not make a brand new BattleNet, load up 8 accounts, and start mass leveling multiple characters in one go. Whether it's legit or not, that, like I said, that in and of itself, because the account has no history, is probably as big of a red flag as anything else. Like I said, we don't necessarily know how Blizzard goes about, what rules and regulations Blizzard have in place behind the scenes. The TLDR is, if you are doing something abnormal, you're probably going to draw attention to you. And drawing attention to you by doing something abnormal, you know. But, you know, as long as you live with the theory that you are 100% legit and above board, then you should be able to appeal it, and you should be able to get somewhere, hopefully, if the system works as it should. That's about as much as we can take from it. Ah, these flipping anniversary things break my mailbox every time. I just pay 150k for boost whenever I need it. Even 5 hours is too much for me to waste on leveling. Well, this is the theory to why I'm trying to scale it a little bit. I would like lots of characters, but I also agree that 5 hours... Well, it's roughly... To get from 10 to 60, it's about 4 hours, I think. I did a test the other day. It wasn't overly scientific, though. But I think in about 4 hours, you can probably get from 10 to 60 using a relatively standard leveling route. You've then obviously got your 60 to 70 leveling. which will be another few hours on top of that. So you're realistically looking at 7 to 10 hours to get a brand new character to level cap, I think. Which means that, you know, some people will happily just do that in a day. And hey presto, you've magically got another max level character. To others, though, that maybe only get like a couple of hours to play a day, that could be too much like hard work, really. But that's kind of up to you. About to hit 3k rating for M+. You've been hitting the M+ pretty hard by the sounds of things then. Should be pretty geared by now and all. Spend the 7 hours on goal making. And then spend your... Yeah, if you spend 7 hours goal making, let's say you make 20k an hour, you're looking at 140k. And then... Yeah, 140k you could then give to somebody. So, well, the thing is, 10 to 60, you can pay somebody for a boost. There's still time involved of that happening, though. You know, they still have to then boost your character. There's still time involved that. It's not a case of you buy a boost and then get you know, you don't instantly get the character. There's only one way to get an instant level 70 character, and that's to give Blizzard $60. Which is, if you want $60 or 60 euros or whatever, if you want 60 Blizzard balances, you're going to need to spend significantly more than 150k gold. I've been back to Mythic raiding as well. No wonder there's been no streams. No wonder there's been no streams. You're a busy man. Pug pushing M+ is really stressful. I'm terrible at it and keep getting even more terrible pugs. Yeah, the only way I would really want to approach anything like that is to get into a guild with a group of people. I would, you know, it would be the pug life is. I don't think it's a smart move for anybody, really. Pre-made guilds way easier. Yeah, I cannot imagine that pug life is any fun. Let's look at, you know, just historical data. When has pugging ever been good? Pugging is something you do when your friends or guild members are offline. It's the I want to play the game and I want to get some progress, but I don't have my regular team of people to go and do it with. So maybe we'll pick up on jumping a pug just to keep myself busy till people come online. Pugging should very rarely be your predominant method of progression. You're going to cause yourself more harm than good, I think, generally. Pugging's fine below 10 or above 22. Yeah, I guess it's that cluster in the middle where it gets... Where you're going to have that combination of people that are pushing their limits in terms of their own skill and their own gearing, more than likely. But I suppose then that disappears once you surpass, like, high keys, because there's no way you'll even have the ability to get into a plus 22 unless you're geared to the teeth already and have got good rating already. That section in the middle is probably where it's a bit painful. Probably makes sense. As a goblin, I don't enjoy anything with the combat. I'm building my whole army through my project pet 3 times a week. When I do pet listings, I also do the pet daily quest with alts dotted around the world. It's a slow burn. Most of the alts are like level 30 plus now. Some are already plus 50. Yeah, the slow and steady approach is a good way of doing an alt army. Slow and steady is always a good way to do it. Anything in moderation makes the effort significantly easier. I would imagine that the 60 to 70 grind will be just that, right? You'll log on and you'll quickly blast a character when a Dream Surge is up in a zone, and you'll get like a level or so. That's a quick blast, quick half an hour blast on a character, and then log them off and just wait until the stars align again to do it again, rather than trying to power level everything. If you want maximum results in minimum time, it is almost always going to require an exponential amount of effort to achieve that. If you're willing to take the slow and steady and build things up over time, it will be A, manageable, B, probably more fun, and you'll probably, you know, well, that's the key thing. You'll probably not burn yourself into the ground by doing it.
Can I lighten that coin purse up for you?
I had 450 gear from Outer Worlds stuff. Still started doing +2s just to learn the basics. Keep running into groups with 430-ish. Going straight to +12s with zero clue about the mechanics and not even bothering to interrupt stuff. Yeah, see, this is probably why you find that middle cluster of keys to be quite toxic. Because you will get people who are basically, what they're doing is they're hoping for a boost. They're hoping to get into a +12, a +13, 14, something like that. I would guess people are kind of half hoping to accidentally find themselves in a group that can just power them through, basically, and overcome. They just need that one last player to go do the key, so they take you along and basically are boosting you. That's what people are probably out there looking for. They're looking for an easy ride. They're probably not looking to actually contribute particularly. Now, gear obviously doesn't mean everything, but if you turn up into a dungeon and you don't know the route, if you don't know the mechanics, if you're also then under-geared, you're a ball and chain. You're a dead weight at that point. If you ever see a really low item level leader, just leave instantly. Isn't there the rule in place that you can't pick people, you can't add people to your group that are lower than your item level or something if you're setting up the group? Isn't that how it is? Wasn't there something in place for that? This shows just how many Mythic Plus dungeons I run, which is like basically none. There was definitely something about you can invite anybody you want. Oh, you can't put in a higher requirement. Oh, okay. So yeah, I knew there was something in place. You can't say that you have to be 450 to apply if you've got 430 gear on, for example. Okay, but you can still just, yeah, okay. There's still room for shenanigans. I see.
You break it, you buy it.
A high item level leader with 2 low item level boosted friends. That's also problematic. I don't think you really want to put yourself in that equation either, to be honest. If you're going to join up with 4 other people to go run a dungeon, you probably want to make sure those 4 other people are in it just as much as you are. Why should you waste your time boosting somebody else's friend? If somebody is willing to boost their friends, they should be capable of doing it by themselves, if that makes sense. Big pumpers only, tend to avoid those. Yeah, yeah. I'm sure if you engage in that avenue of play enough, you learn the tricks of the trade. You learn the things that you learn the things to look for and the things to ignore and the red flags pretty quickly. I am checking logs. Don't be a monkey. It's the classic. Fuck. Bring back gear score. Jesus. AOTC only. Yeah, ignore those. These are just people that want boosting. They just want boosting. They want a boost and they want it for free. We look at to gain an understanding. Look, any of you guys out there that have ever tried to do work orders for people, how quickly and easily people will try and scam you for a free craft or deliberately lowball you. You know, all of those exact same players are the exact same people that are trying to join your pugs. These are the exact people who aren't in a guild, possibly in some scenarios for very good reasons, because they're, you know, they couldn't, if they can't even hold a day job at McDonald's, they're unlikely to be considerably good leaders of a group. Let's put it that way. There are many people, I would imagine, who have got jobs because, and this sounds absolutely ridiculous, right? And it was a bit of a meme for a while, but I do genuinely think it's true, that there are probably people that have got jobs because on their CV it says they are a successful raid leader in a guild of World of Warcraft. To some people, that is worth more than 5 years' experience. Genuinely, because it shows that you can take a group of clusterfucks and mold something that is not terrible. If you have the ability to run a reasonably successful guild in WoW, I think you'll be good for a mid-tier management position generally. I heard that was a thing 15 years ago, not sure if it's real. I genuinely believe that that is a thing. If you've got the ability to put together a group of individuals from all sorts of different backgrounds and organize everybody to go in one direction and achieve something, that is solid, foundational management skills, whether you realize it or not. Now, if you apply for a job and you put your Raider.io score, people are going to look at you funny. But, like, you know, there are some transferable skills, for sure. Being a goblin in WoW unquestionably teaches you basic economics. It teaches you the basics of sales. I don't think anybody is going to, you know, be able to relay many skills from World of Warcraft externally to make lots of real life money, but you know, there are definitely some things that are transferable. I'm in guilds, family guilds. I'm the only one of us who has ever raided, but I used to run a rather successful raid and social guild back in the day, which is why I no longer do that. It can also get a little bit stressful in a avenue of. It takes a very, to be a guild leader in this game, to be a successful guild leader. I'm not talking about some scumbag casual guild here, but like if you're to be the guild leader in a successful guild nowadays, it takes a very certain type of individual, because you got to remember everybody is playing this game ultimately for fun, right? You've got to take enjoyment in sort of simple management tasks. The number one reason why I don't do crafting orders for people is because it's basically like having a customer service job. And I've had customer service jobs, and I know historically I'm not great at them. I can sell ice to an Eskimo, but when it comes to the customer service side of things, it's when you are ultimately dealing with pissed off people a lot of the time and trying to explain why people are wrong, it can get very difficult. And the TLDR is I don't want to do that for enjoyment. My last boss asked me in interviews what games I played, and I said Overwatch, WoW, etc. He asked if I mained Bastion. I said no. He said, you got the job. That's quite funny because I also imagine that's true. Or I could see that being true.
Pleasure doing business with you.
From Reddit a few days ago, eye level 900, pumpers only, no boss fights, can recite the Gettysburg Address in Japanese. Once made lunch with Gordon Ramsay and will mend my broken marriage. Will check IO score, BMI and credit score. Yeah. Yeah. The requirements. And that was probably for a +8. Yeah. To be a kind of okay GM, you need to be able to mediate in conflicts, not be afraid to speak up when somebody is an ass, in general be a little bit more assertive than the average player that I've encountered. That's why I am a GM. You know, you've got to take it upon yourselves to, you need a basic skill base for sure. Fast run, need pumpers only, weekly, no levers, please. Yeah, ignore them like the plague. Right, I've nearly blasted through these. Only a few more to go. I said I was going to mix this up, and I haven't done a great job of mixing any of this up, have I really? I ran a few dungeons, then I posted some auctions, and that's been it.
Cha-ching!
Being a GM was too much politics and people handling. I mean, that is literally it. That's, you know, if you're choosing to be a leader of a group of people, then you are going to have to deal with a group of people. I understand why it's less than appealing to some. I would imagine that in today's version of World of Warcraft, though, your average guild and average guild leader nowadays is probably better than it was 10 years ago. And this is just by proxy of the fact that I think the average age of the player of World of Warcraft has increased quite dramatically. You are significantly less likely to see Fortnite Zoomers running guilds, I think, in World of Warcraft
I got what you need.
than you would have done 10 years ago. That's not to say there are some proper scumbag guilds still out there, I'm sure, but...
That's it. I got mal.
I like being the GM. I do have offers that I delegate a lot to. They call me in to crack a whip when needed. I have a very good mum voice. Hey, use that to your advantage. Use that for your advantage. Go to your room. Oh, F4. Yeah, I would suspect that due to the average age of the player base increasing, that it might be more simplistic nowadays than it once was to find a group of like-minded individuals to go do something. There's even like solid Discord communities and stuff like that nowadays. If you go looking, you'll probably find a bunch of stuff externally that is probably more likely to lead to some sort of success than if you just go hunting in trade chat for a guild, you know. Anybody advertising in trade chat for people to join their guild is probably a guild you don't want to join. Dare I say it?
Glad I could help.
As they're looking not for like-minded individuals, they're looking for numbers. They want people, and they will churn through people until they eventually find somebody. The guild finder is one I avoid. Yeah, see, this is it, right? The irony here is that the in-game features and functions are probably the ones you actually would be better off ignoring. Finding an external Discord community is probably more likely to lead to success. I would hazard a guess.
Can I interest you in a payment?
It's that one step of effort that is above the bare minimum, I think, which accounts for a lot of stuff nowadays. I mean, you know, it's the same with goal making, right? If you put in the same amount of effort as everybody else, you'll get the same results that everybody else gets, which is often absolutely sweet FA. If you put 1 iota more effort into doing something than somebody else, you will start to see more success out of it. Try and find a guild. You know, if you go looking in the guild finder, and you're expecting to land yourself a spot in Echo by looking through the guild finder, you're doing it wrong. But you take that little bit more effort to try and seek out something a little bit more well established, Discord community or the likes. That's that one step above the bare minimum that might mean you get somewhere. I miss when guilds had a forum and people make applications and it was evaluated. Word of mouth is probably more the best form. We go through word of mouth, we're casual, we attract former mythic players that just want to take a step back a bit until they get that mythic bug again, and then they're off. They send others our way, it works for us. Yeah, that feels very much like the comfortable middle ground that most players should strive for. I used to raid all the time, now it's a rocking chair with a mouse and keyboard holder. Hey, what works for you works for you. Don't anybody tell you otherwise. The application process for guilds, I feel, got a touch serious for a while. Guilds out there were shooting way above their means, setting up like Google Forms to apply to a casual heroic raiding guild, or it became fashionable to have an application form for your guild, and I think that got a little bit out of hand because it's just ridiculous, right? It's genuinely ridiculous. Somebody's going to start... I mean, obviously, if you're applying for a world top 50 guild, they're the people that probably should be doing something like that, because they've probably got... If you are able to have significantly more people want to join your guild than you have spots for in your guild, then it starts to make sense for you to, trim the fat, vet the people a little bit more so before inviting them in for even a trial or something like that. But when you've got, casual Jimmy that's got 4 people in his guild and 3 of them are his mates from school, and he asks you to fill out a Google form to join his guild, that's when you need to turn around and go, nope. I'm going to do a 180 on that one. That little Jimmy is either going to end up being the next Elon Musk or the laughing stock.
have I got a deal for you.
Gold making's less stressful. It is. It is significantly less stressful.
Pleasure doing
Admittedly, gold making is one of the least MMO-esque sort of adventures. This is why collectors and gold makers often share a very similar space. Most collectors, people who like to collect pets, mounts, transmogs, this sort of stuff, many people that enjoy that aspect of the game very, very quickly at some point stumble into the world of gold making, even if it's only temporarily. Mostly to fund their habit. And vice versa, gold makers tend to get to a point where they start looking for things to spend their gold on and then accidentally find themselves in the collecting world. Once you've bought all of the easy to get pets or mounts, you start looking further afield for other things to go and collect, for example. There's quite a lot of synergy between those two groups of people. Apply through the website, that was a thing back in the day. Always struck me as a bit funny. Yeah. I think Discord is probably going to have solved most of that problem. That, you know, if you are looking to join a guild nowadays, I would suspect you'll very quickly get a Discord link. And if you know, a quick 3-second, hi, what's your main class? Like, you know, a very quick Discord conversation is probably all that's actually realistically necessary nowadays. You may not necessarily, you know, it's also a good opportunity to test if they've got a 1990s $2 Microsoft microphone or whether they've actually got something that sounds half decent. How are our auctions doing over here? Ooh, sold a couple of our trinkets, look. One of our 424 trinkets and a 424 helm. Big server privileges here that you can actually post some of this stuff and it is likely to sell. Don't mind if I do. Right, let's get another couple of runs done on Eoni Druid. If flipping cross-realm is the meta for gold making and Blizzard makes everything cross-realm, what will the gold meta be then? It will move. The gold posts will move. They'll move somewhere, somehow. They always do. As we mentioned earlier, that, you know, if you do the same as everybody else, you'll get the same results as everybody else. People will find a way to differentiate themselves, and that will carve out what the new meta is. There will always be a meta of some sort. This is why a lot of people... I tell you what, it's really surprising to see actually just how many people are coming back to retail. And I can't fully understand why. But there is a massive influx, it feels, of new people coming back to retail after often quite sizable lengths of time. Now, I don't know if it's because... I don't know why it's because. A great raid? Maybe. But that would be a reactionary thing, right? If it's only in the last few days, quite literally, that, you know, people have started to say this is, you know, one of the better raids that they've done. But I'm talking about, we've seen a big influx of people coming back to the game by the looks of things in the last sort of 3 months or so. the announcement of a new expansion definitely helps to bring people back. A lot of people that maybe have chosen not to play the game for quite a while have seen the war within and the direction that Blizzard appears to be taking things and have decided to come back. But this goes to my point behind all of this, not so much to figure out why they've come back, but more to highlight the fact that anybody that tries to get back into making some gold, they'll give a quick explanation of what they know and what they understand, and you can clearly see that back when they played the game, going out and picking up herbs was the meta for gold making. And so much has changed over just a small period of time. And ultimately, the meta does slowly but surely move forward and forward and forward. Oh, right item, wrong quality. Real life stuff got to go now. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed. Enjoy the rest of your day. I had long breaks many times, sometimes even as long as 2 years. Mostly came back if I get a bit bored IRL, but I also quit when I get bored of the game, so it kind of goes hand in hand. I think the reagent requirements are too low with all the resourcefulness in multicraft. That's why farming sucks. No, farming sucks because herbs and mining are a byproduct. Sorry, the herbs and the ore are byproducts. The main thing you're out farming for is awakened. That's the #1 reason why most gathering feels a bit grim right now. The crafting side of stuff does an alright job. The issue is that there is that you're always bottlenecked by awakened. Always, always, always. They needed to have been a touch more flexible with the demand for awakened. Literally, and people did tell Blizzard this literally from day one, right? The very, very, very first time we saw any implementation of the professions on the alpha, even. The big one was alchemy. People were very, very quick to point out that even the most basic potions needed vast quantities of rousing frost, I think it was, or maybe still is, I can't remember off the top of my head. But people were like very quickly saying that like this is actually ridiculous. You end up being constrained by the amount of rousings way before you care. You'll always have enough herbs, you'll always have enough ore, but you'll never have enough of the awakened, and so hence why the price of those is significantly higher. And then when you get a resourcefulness proc on a, your resourcefulness procs are at best when they land on an awakened. Jewel crafting as an entire profession is, the gems just don't matter. This is the really silly thing, right? When you're jewel crafting, the quality of the gem should be the most important thing. The awakened that you rub on it should be secondary. But it's not. If you craft any gems at all, you don't care about the gems. You don't care about the price of your ore. That means nothing to you. You care how much it costs for your awakened order. And the value, the cheaper you can get your awakened order, the more likelihood is that you'll actually be able to turn a profit. The gems are secondary. That's where they've kind of, they've missed the mark a little bit there. Oh, I didn't mean to pull that dude. Oops. Or whatever. And what is ultimately happened is because you're always stranglehold, the bottleneck is always the awakened. It means there's nowhere for these spare herbs and stuff to go. We had vendor shuffles quite commonly in past expansions, and people would seek out a vendor shuffle, and what that would do is it would create a floor price. It would create a price where a herb or an ore could not drop below, And that floor price would set equally then a floor price for the gatherers. Meaning that there was always, you know, you could spend an hour going out farming and you would know that you would make at least this amount. That safety net of always knowing that you'll make at least this amount of gold, even if it was not a big amount of gold, that safety net was still there. You knew that your ore was never going to drop below 2 gold a piece, because any time it dropped below 2 gold a piece, people could buy it up for vendor shuffles, so ore sat at 2 gold a piece. You would know that you could get X amount of ore in an hour. There was, you know, it was a relatively guaranteed quantity. Now, you've got no guarantee that anything that you pick up is going to work in your favor. You are reliant on specific nodes to get your rousings in the first place. You're also then secondary. You're going to have to use creative use of your overload ability, which has another factor of RNG on it. So you've got to get the right node to spawn in the first place. Then you've got to use your overload on it, and it gives you a random quantity of the thing. You also have the skill trees on top of that, which allows you to different, you know, you've got to build those up slowly. So it's regardless of what you're doing, there's like a third element of like, it's just too much for gathering, right? This is the thing, right? Gathering is, it's cool, but there's too much reliance on the Awakened. And if they can fix that, problem next expansion, when they make some tweaks and make some tuning, then it might mean that Gathering maintains a touch more value than it does right here, right now. And that will facilitate a lot more people to be happy going out and gathering, right? The issue is now when gathering produces so little gold, if you can only make 4, 5, 6, 7,000 gold an hour by gathering, most people are going to say, right, well, that's shit. I'm going to look at doing something that is better. And then they naturally look at going up a level. Right, well, surely crafting is better, right? Surely crafting is better. And they look at crafting and they realize that it struggles from the same problems that gathering does. And then they're like, okay, right. You know, it pushes more people into crafting, and the more people that get pushed into crafting, the worse crafting gets, because there's only so much demand for the things. You got to have a solid foundation, and gathering was always that solid foundation, and there's a few cracks in it at the moment, which makes it more difficult. What a cozy stream you got in, Mr. Streamer. I hope so. I appreciate that. Very relaxing killing ogres. Yeah, deliberately target farming a very specific piece of gear at the moment. I want this piece of gear, but I want it warforged. That's kind of what I'm after. There is actually technically legs I think I can get from this boss as well, so I'll happily take either. Are you sure you even want that Warforged? You can't put lifesteal on it if it's epic. No, I do. I do. I can put something else on it. Under normal circumstances, lifestealing is just convenient because it's passive. But I can replace lifesteal entirely by just using frenzied regen. So I don't strictly need lifestealing on it. And that's the rest of my gear scales, the strength of what's it called? Frenzied regeneration. Because it's percentage based, we'll end up doing sizably more healing. Lifesteal's there for damage too, not just survivability. I mean, it is partly, but you can see that my it's not even on my lifesteal in most cases is rarely even on my damage charts. I mean, it counts, but it's what's the druid going to be used for? Well, this druid, hopefully, with another 5 or 6 item levels under his belt, will be sufficient enough for me to basically boost myself with a few other characters. I can then set up 4 other accounts and level 4 characters, at once is the plan. Come over to Twitch. I was talking to myself on YouTube. Yeah, we do stream on both. We stream on both YouTube and Twitch. The chat is a little quieter over on YouTube most days. I give people the main reason I stream on YouTube at the same time is because obviously some people prefer just being on YouTube. Secondly, it also means that all the VODs are there on YouTube automatically and instantly. And if you jump into a stream halfway through, you can jump over on YouTube and you can rewind, which is something you can't do on Twitch. What's the benefits of having multiple accounts? Well, in my scenario, it's going to be the fact that I'll be able to level up a bunch of characters in one go kind of thing. Quicker and easier than doing them one at a time. It's all being paid for with gold anyway, so there's no out of pocket. There's not what I would consider any out of pocket expense to do it this way. Not for me anyway. I guess I was wrong. Never mind. What's this? Oh, what's this? Armory link. I'll check it out when I'm not mass murdering. Oh no, hang on. You at the back there. Like now, you see, in an AoE pool, swipe is by far... Like, lifesteal is doing less than 10% of my damage. It's, it's not doing no damage, but it's... The bump I would gain by having a higher item level weapon is probably worth the trade-off, I guess. Like I said, I've not really researched this twinking thing particularly much. I'm just kind of piecing together knowledge as it seems to make sense to me. Deer Farm BOE 2x4 nets about 10 to 20 order per hour, plus the skins and the decent profit on the BOEs with all the skinner spec titans and rares and stuff. Yeah, I mean, there are see, this is the thing with farming. There is periodically, high season for very specific farms. And that's always the case, right? You will always find that there'll be one farm that for a short period of time will be more valuable to you than doing nearly anything else. But as a farmer, what you are trying to do is dance between often a handful of different farms so that, one is not flooding the market per se. That farm is probably working currently very well because of some slightly higher prices on some very specific materials right here, right now. Next week, it could be all completely different. Whereas that is a level of farming that most people aren't really doing. You see this historically. Anytime anybody posts a YouTube video of something, you know, of a gold farm. Oh, there's one name that clearly comes to mind here. A lot of students' videos are 2x4 farms, which are highly effective ways of farming, but most people are looking for something that doesn't require a group of people to do. It's most of the time people are looking for relatively solo adventures. And this is what gathering always had the advantage of, right? Gathering was something that average Joe could just pick up and make a little bit of gold. Nobody expected to become a multi-billionaire picking up herbs. But it was something for people to do. Sure, you could make 20k an hour probably doing a effective 2x4 farm, but that's like, you know, that's like saying, oh, well, if you need better gear, just jump into a raid. Just find 7 other people that are looking to do the same thing as you are doing at the exact same time. That's not necessarily as simple, you know. Gathering gave people the ability to just, you know, jump on a toon for an hour, go pick up some herbs, go pick up some ore, sell whatever they picked up, and, you know, make a small amount of gold. Maybe enough to cover their consumables for next week's raid or Mythic Plus or something. Expectations weren't very high, but it was straightforward. Simple and easy. In a way, I like the new gathering because it does add a bit of a skill gap. It does add some advantage to those that have been consistent with gathering and have skilled up their tree and whatever. But it's also, at the same time they've leveled up gathering, they've not replaced it realistically with anything for those that do just want something pretty simple and straightforward with relatively sort of average results. So I don't really think that dragon races are, whilst they give you 500 gold per dragon race, it's a very quick, short, sharp blast of 10k gold maybe. But it doesn't hit the same as gathering did for people. What was this? What was this? Oh, so here we go. Here's another level 11 Guardian Druid. Somebody that's pretty well kitted out. Okay, they've got the weapon I'm going for. They've put Force Multiplier on it. Is the enchant that they've added. They've not enchanted half of their gear. This goes to show that you don't really need the enchants by the time you've got some stuff. Plus speed, plus leech, plus speed. Plus speed. This dude is farmed. Plus leech, plus speed, this dude has farmed. Plus speed again. Yeah. Plus speed again. Sheesh. Okay. Yeah, this dude has farmed. The reason he doesn't have enchants is because at level 11 with epics, you're actually in enchant purgatory.
Hello there.
You're kind of stuck in the middle where things don't work, yeah. Yeah, the amount of plus speed this dude has, you know, he runs through. The quantity of plus speed he's got on his gear right now, 8, 6, so 14, 22, 26, 26, 32, 40, 46. He's got his gem speed as well. 52 speed. Jesus. Yeah, he's going to be absolutely blasting. That is one super speedy druid. He doesn't need to worry about anything hitting him ever. Frenzy Rejuve will keep him topped up nicely. That is a fast Guardian Druid right there. That is a very fast Guardian Druid. I know there's diminishing returns on the speed on the secondary stats even, but I've got plus 12% movement speed and I've only got 10 speed. This one character's got 5 times the amount of speed on his gear, so he's zooming. He's probably got 30, 40, 50% movement speed plus just naturally. On top of 1,000 health, meaning that's 1,000 base health. So by the time he goes into bear spec, what's bear spec give you? Is it plus 30% or something? Stamina increases by 25%. So he's got 1,200, 1,300 base health. Yeah, that basically means Frenzy Rejuve is keeping him alive. No problems whatsoever. He's a speedy boy. No need for lifesteal when nothing's got a chance of hitting you. What are we up to? I'm messing around playing on a level 11 Guardian Druid. I'm twinking out a low level Guardian Druid so that eventually he'll be strong enough and fast enough to speed farm and solo clear dungeons for me, which will give me the opportunity to level up multiple characters at the same time. I'm spending time and effort to save time and effort later, if that makes sense. Plus, it's kind of quite fun. It's kind of quite fun, which is the #1 requirement most of the time. If you're enjoying yourself, then you do as you please. Problem with making gathering is that it's easily automated, so making it profitable is a double-edged sword. True. That is true. But I don't ever feel that you should design your game in a way... You shouldn't actively choose to not do something in a game because it could be easily botted. I don't consider that a valid reason for not doing something. The solution to that is to be as proactive as possible to stop people from botting. Not choose to make avenues of your gameplay less appealing and less attractive. You know, you're actively at that point making a worse game because you know it might get botted. No, the solution there is to just stop the bots, or to do as much as you can to prevent the damage of bots. That's kind of my approach. There are people out there that don't drive because they're scared they might get into a car crash. The solution to that, realistically, the choice to not drive in that scenario is probably the wrong choice, you know. The right choice is to make sure that the roads are safer and that there is less chance for you of crashing, you know. Be a safe driver and you're less likely to cause yourself harm. It's the same sort of concept, you know. Actively choosing to not do something because there's, you know, is probably the wrong way about doing it. How do you intend to earn gold with this druid? There's not really much gold making potential in this druid particularly. Other than I could, in theory, at some point, if I really wanted to, boost other players and charge them gold to do it. I'm unlikely to ever do that. Oh, same one, but not Warforged again. It's more of a long tail effect. The fact that I'll be able to level a bunch of characters quicker will in turn allow me to generate more gold eventually. It's sort of a, you know, it's less of a direct goal making. It's more of a you know, end of the day kind of goal. Skin more cobras. Well, yeah, obviously if I had an alt army set up as it stands right now, giving them all skinning and going skinning cobras every day is a fantastic way to make, you know, a bunch of gold every day right now. What you want is to have those characters ready and waiting, so then when an opportunity arises, you can act fast. So often, a lot of times, long-term goblins often end up doing things that are not very gold making related in the like right here, right now. But it gives you such a competitive advantage when something changes, you know. This expansion has showcased a couple of times already that if you can act fast to a change in the market or something new being added, you can do very, very well out of it. Now, if you wait until that thing happens and try and react to it when it happens, if you see an opportunity to make a lot of gold by having an alt army, and you wait until that opportunity arises to make your alt army, by the time you have your alt army, the opportunity is no longer as clear as it once was, or as strong as it once was. So maybe make the army regardless. Forget about the fact that you're not making gold per hour particularly, and put yourself in a position then when something does change, you have the ability to take advantage of it. Just like for me, professions, right? I spent a lot of time at the beginning of the expansion leveling all of my crafting professions, even though, you know, many times there was not really much of any profit to be had by doing that. But it means as and when and if something turns up, I can instantly jump on it. That's the theory, at least. And it's just a silly playstyle. It's just a really fun, silly little playstyle. Because of how scaling works in the game, a bit of gear on a level 10, 11, 12 character just like makes your character ungodly level powerful. It's just quite funny. I cannot get this boss to drop me anything Warforged. Everything that drops off the bosses in here, you'll see that there's oh, have I got all the things available? No, wrong button. No, wrong button again, which is the button. Here we go. The bosses in here, the loot that they drop, you can get Warforged variations of it. The normal gear's item level 36 and rare. The Warforged versions are item level 62 and have significantly more stats on them, yet don't increase the level requirement to wear them in any way. So you can end up doing some silly things. Will you still be saying that after 500 runs? Don't know. I know historically that I'm not particularly much of a fan of leveling characters. So if I want to set myself the goal of like having an additional 40 characters to use, I can math it out and figure out how much time and effort it's going to take me to level 40 characters, or I can enjoy myself, try something a little bit different, and in theory probably save myself a lot of time leveling at the same time. So it's win-win-win for me. Plan on leveling my alts that need at 70 this week. Time walking span with the anniversary experience bonus. Yeah, this week's probably not a bad week to do some Legion dungeons. Do some time walking. Get 20% faster leveling speeds. Probably not a terrible idea. Now, as it stands at the moment, I don't particularly have many level 60s to take advantage of that with. But if I'd done a bunch of this ahead of time and had a bunch of level 60s ready and waiting, you know, I'd be able to then jump on this and take advantage of it. But it's also, in a way for me, a way to kill time in a slightly different way than just leveling, you know. We've got the best part of a year until the new expansion comes out, so I might as well be doing something. I tend to do this most expansions anyway. I get to a certain point where I've kind of done most of the stuff I kind of really want to do. And then I just find some random thing to throw some time and effort at. Shadowlands, it was a little bit more structured because obviously it was Lego crazy, right? Once you've leveled up and cash carrying Legos on one server, the obvious thing to do was to do it on another server. That was like, it was pretty simple, straightforward. But even that required leveling a bunch of characters on that second server. Leveling up the legendaries on there, getting gold on those realms, that sort of thing. There was a little bit more to it. It was a little bit more structured, but plus I started Project Pet last expansion, which was the stepping stones into what will eventually be some cross-realm arbitrage stuff when I can be bothered. I usually level them one level at a time, all in a row, so they don't all reach max level at the same time, and it keeps it interesting. Makes most use of rested experience as well. Yeah, that's another good way of doing it. I think the 60 to 70 grind is best done that way. Park them in an inn, get some rested experience, then when the stars, you know, Dream Surge, rep buff, or time walking, something or other, or, you know, you can quickly jump on, blast a level or two. Keep it fresh. Keep it fresh, keep it interesting. I need to always remember to focus the Overseer, because he does a 10-second stun, and it's annoying as all hell when it casts, because it locks you out of doing anything. It's the only way you'll die, or it's the only way I'll die, is if I get tagged by that 10-second stun. I might start weaving in, actually, a couple of full runs, because I do need a few bits of gear off the further bosses in this dungeon as well. Why are you not killing the last boss for the shoulders, by the way? Big slack. Yeah, I do still need the shoulders off the last boss, which is why I should be doing full runs technically. I kind of was trying to tie... There was 3 bits of gear I needed off this first boss. So I was like, right, well, until I've got at least 2 of the bits of gear off this first boss, I'll just target farm him. I can actually do 10 runs in like 20-25 minutes if I'm paying attention. So that gives me a really good excuse to then go and do something else for the other half an hour. I think I'm getting close to the instance lockout, so I might do a full run on this one now. I even made a little notepad of what I need. I need the weapon and the legs off the first boss, the chest off the second boss, the shoulders off the last boss, and there are rings that drop off the last boss as well. And then in Shadow Moon Burial Grounds, I need a little bit of something off all of the bosses. But I'll go there after I've got the weapon. I think, probably. Mix it up some. Ooze Trinket doesn't work with Chromie Time, by the way. Yeah, I know. I should equip a different trinket when I'm in Chromie Time. Beggars can't be choosers right now, to be honest. I don't have much options. I could, in theory, put my unstable elemental thing back on again. Or even a Swift Hand of Justice, to be honest. Yeah, I was I was so lucky with this. I got this on my like third or fourth run of Plaguefall. I know some people it's taken them significantly longer to get. PvP trinket against stuns. Well, yeah, maybe. That might work. I don't think it would protect me against the big 10-second stun, though. Damn fear. What am I doing exactly? Leveling up a level 11 Guardian Druid to be a little boosting character. I need to figure out what my elevator pitch is for what I'm doing at the moment, because it's causing a lot of people to be quite rightly confused. Right. Give me Warforged chess piece. Can you elaborate on what exactly you do in the boost? Well, when I say boost, it's going to be so I can level up some of my other accounts. My goal is to probably set up 4... Why can I not loot that? Oh, my inventory's full. Oh, shit. To level up 4 additional accounts at the same time. So basically, partying up with 4 other of my low-level alts, and then considering this dude is strong enough to solo the dungeons, the other 4 accounts can just be on follow, gaining the experience, whilst the druid is doing the hard work. I need to go vendor a bunch of this gear. I didn't realise my inventory was quite so full. I don't need anything off this third boss. So we just got to quickly kill through this worm. Get him out the way, because he doesn't move with you. You got to kill this dude, or he keeps you in combat throughout the entire dungeon, which is annoying. And if these guys had followed me a little bit more effectively, I wouldn't have to bother killing these first either. Yeah, these stuns are annoying. You can come with me. Avoid the boulders or just tank the damage. Either or. Is this method of leveling boosting other people, and how fast is it actually? I would probably not be leveling other people. I think whilst that is feasible to do, it's probably more effort than it's worth. I will probably 99% only use this for my own personal gains. But if you were to level other people with this, I mean, I haven't done it, so I don't strictly know how competitive it is, but that's the name of the service game, right? The better you are at what it is you're doing, the more you can charge. So it's not quite as black and white as that. With boosting. You can boost anybody for anything if your price is right. And you're good enough at doing it. That upgraded, what did... Oh, I've got the helm. Boo. Jump into the lava, by the way. Oh, this will take you back to the start of the portal. Yeah, you're probably right. I'm not entirely sure you need to be in Chromie time to do this, by the way. Have you tried turning it off? I haven't tried turning it off. Could I turn Chromie time off and then still come in here, and would it still be scaled the same? That's a good question, actually. I mean, I guess there's only one way to find out, isn't there? Let's go back to Chromie. Right now they boost level 10s in the Brackenhide area in 3 to 4 hours. Just put them up on a high point and spam killing the mobs there. That's probably the most convenient for most people. Return to present timeline. So now we're not in WOD timeline particularly. Now what happens if we go back to our garrison and go to the dungeon? Because not being in WOD timeline would mean... What difference would that make? That would, for starters, that would mean our infinitely divisible ooze would start doing silly things. Let's see. Obviously, not being in Chromie time means if we were to use specific dungeon or random dungeon, it throws us in BFA dungeons. But we're not doing specific dungeons, we're soloing the dungeon that we go to. Yeah, we might not actually need to be in WOD Chromie time. The dungeon should still scale the same way, I think. Let's have a look. You watch, I'll have hit the instance lockout now. Did I reset dungeons anyway? Let's find out. Everything looks the same. Oh dear God. Okay. Ooze is one-shotting them. Okay, yeah, you don't need to be in time walking. You only need to be in if you're a group early before you can solo it, you only need to be in a group with others to you only need to be in Chromie time whilst you are also choosing to group with others because you are not yet strong enough to solo it. Look at Noxious Bolt. Is now doing 60% of my damage. Ooze slaps. That is one powerful ooze. Boom! That is one powerful ooze. So, did 45% of my damage. OP trinket as hell. That probably means that with that thing doing silly things, I don't have to worry too much about being overly cautious about anything. Because that happens. Heard you can skip the garrison intro by not taking the intro quest. Did you skip it? You can take the skip, I believe, for the garrison stuff. I did the garrison stuff all wrong. I'm pretty sure I did it all wrong. I just did the intro. The garrison intro. It's only 20 minutes. But I'm quite sure you can take the skip, yeah. No, don't stand in the stunt. Oh, I got the chest, but it wasn't flipping. It wasn't Warforged. Never lucky. I do think a monk is probably still faster than this, but I think you can probably... it's probably much of a muchness once you've got a good set of gear on you. I imagine it probably ends up all being the same. The only reason I chose druid is just because I see a lot of people doing this with monks, and I, you know, wanted to try something a bit different. There's a few other things that work. Priests are quite good at this. Mages are quite good at this sort of stuff. Cap form in between groups. Yeah, that would also help. Oh, I've got no ooze on this boss. So you can do these ones even before you have the gear. Honestly, a level 10, a level 11 character. I'm level 11 deliberately, so I get Maul ability. But you can do this at level 10. Even at level 10 in heirlooms, you are unnecessarily strong. A few dungeons in, you'll have got some better gear. And you'll then probably be able to start soloing the dungeons quite quickly. I mean, I started this, made this character, started this, and I think I had like 10 hours / played. And I didn't really do much research particularly before I started, so you can figure stuff out as you go along for the most part. Ooh! 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 Take that. There's a Warforged piece. Don't mind if I do. That's going to be a nice little upgrade. Neither of my 2 rings I've got currently are much of anything particularly fancy, so no mastery socket or speed. I mean, I'll take the +3 agility, the +4. Yeah, I'll take the agility. No problems at the moment. Okay, that means I can cross 1 ring off my list. If you go down, it gives you. Ah, so it does. Insta-gibbed. Right. Oh no, I've hit instance cap. Boo. Boo! Time for a drink. Okay, well, if we've hit instance cap, let's sell some trash real quick. I might do well to sell some of this random gear we're picking up, you know. It's really good, solid leveling gear. I don't think it's particularly worth much from a transmog perspective, but, you know, people will spend a couple of $100 gold on a low-level piece of gear. There is one thing that making these little low-level twinks can be really good for. It's very niche, but it would allow you to target farm twink gear significantly more effectively. A lot of people choose to do transmog farming on high-level characters because they have speed sets and this sort of stuff. So making speed sets is significantly easier on high-level characters. The problem with that, though, is a lot of the transmog you sometimes get, or a lot of the items you get, are going to be scaled to your high level. When a lot of bits of gear people are looking for, they're often going to be looking for pieces of gear at very specific item levels. And so if you can do some farming on lower level characters, you are going to get those bits of gear with lower level item requirements on them, which in many cases can make the item significantly more valuable. I can't, off the top of my head, think of any particular examples of this, but they're definitely out there. The Mage Tower actually was probably the best example I can think of that most people will quickly understand. When they rebrought the Mage Tower back, people were looking for very specific item level bits of gear, and some of the crafting gear that was really good was only really good if you deliberately made it at a lower item level. And a lot of people messed that up and then didn't understand why their crafted gear wasn't selling. And it was because people were looking for like exact item level stuff. So many mods you haven't learnt. There is a lot of stuff I haven't learnt, actually. I should probably fix these problems. That's going to be soulbound. We can sell that. This one as well. Bunch I need to send over to some other characters to learn as well here. I remember farming with a level 25 toon to loot items under level 20. Yeah, the for example, level 19 twinks for battlegrounds and stuff are looking for powerful items at exactly like, you know, level 19 requirements and that sort of stuff. Like, it's a super, super, super niche market for sure, but I think that market's dead now. Everybody just does what you're doing now. That was before the Dragonflight pre-patch item level scaling. Now everybody just runs these 2 dungeons and some standalone broken trinkets from other expansions. Probably, but there'll still be some desire for stuff. I wonder how long it's going to be before it lets me back in. Oh, that's interesting. It shouldn't have let me through the portal that far. Not meant to be able to explore in here. Okay, well there's not much I can do on this dude right now anyway. What time is it? Oh, we've missed super blooms as well. Damn strawberry jam. I was trying to carefully avoid the instance lockout, and it's come and grabbed me before I expected it to. Scaling is much more forgiving at lower levels. It's actually easier than at high level by a considerable amount. Yeah, because when you think about it, right? If you're on a low level character like this, the game expects you to have 20, 30, agility. The game is scaling things on the premise of you not having that many stats. But your gear can take you from 20 agility, and your gear that you can quite easily get access to can take your suggested gearing level of like 20 agility, say, and you can get gear that gives you a grand total of like 40, 50, 60. I'm up to nearly 100 agility, and this character is nowhere near complete, right? That means your power relative to what the game thinks you should have is monstrous. The further you go, let's say the game thinks that you should have 500 agility, but by target farming some specific gear, you can instead push that to like 600 agility. Your power relative to what the game thinks you should have is significantly less. This is why the twinking thing is most aggressive at the super low levels. Because you can literally be 2, 3, 4 times stronger than the game expects you to be. Fury Warrior at level 11 is also pretty quick and has got some nice AoE. Yeah, there's a few classes that are probably pretty cool. If I have enough fun on the Guardian Druid, I might test another couple out. It's it's a fun and slightly different avenue of gameplay, which is something I tend to seek out.
Well met.
Resto Shaman Lightning Bolt slams at level 10. I bet it does. Yeah, I bet that shreds through people. Cobra skins are still 10k plus, you know. Even though we're on a, what would you call it, like an off week. It's only half a spark week, isn't it? Cobra skins have not tanked as far as I expected them to. There's plenty of supply of them now. The skinners have clearly stopped going and trying to get antler fragments, and then have in turn gone back to doing their Cobra skins like they were. Shadow Flame essences, there's plenty of these now that we've had another reset. Yet the price is still pretty spicy. Still 3.5 million glow spores. These aren't going anywhere, are they? These are not going anywhere anytime soon. Sheesh! Look at the vast quantity of them clustered at the bottom here. There's nearly 2 million of them, all within 5 cents of each other. Damn. 20 million gold worth of glow spores just in this section of the market. Sheesh. Is Rousing Earth still doing? Somebody reset Earth market, have they? 460 gold for Earth. That is mad. That is actually mad. There was periods in time, right? I remember this pretty vividly, where probably, I want to say, 3 or 4 days into the expansion, only 3 or 4 days into the expansion, you could pick up Awakened Earth for like 80 gold. And all of a sudden, a year later, it's nearly 500 gold. That's pretty mad. Whoa! Look at what we just sold. A reinforced mining bag. 6,000 gold. I can't believe I even made that thing. Who's just gone and bought a 28 slot mining bag? Damn. Fair enough. Fair enough. Somebody really wants more. Why would you buy? See, this is why sometimes you just have to craft things, because it doesn't make sense why people buy them, but occasionally when they do, it's GG well played. A 28 slot mining. Why would you spend 6,000 gold on a 28 slot mining bag when a 28 slot bag of any sorts, you can buy a 32 slot bag for 77 gold? This is why sometimes you can't apply logic to goblineering, because logic just doesn't exist, right? It doesn't make any sense. You can buy a 32 slot bag for 77 gold, yet somebody has decided that it makes logical sense to them to buy a 28 slot bag that can only put ore in it for 6,000 gold. I mean, I'll take the gold. No problem whatsoever. I'll take the gold. They probably just like the icon on their bag bars. Probably. This is why flipping Hexweave bags still sell. Hexweave bags still sell because they're purple. Right? That's genuinely it. Because they're purple. Why 11, by the way, as opposed to 10? Is it the extra ability that's gained? Yeah, so my druid, I've made them level 11 rather than 10. Mostly because you get more. Which ultimately is not that big of a difference whether you have it or not have it. I genuinely actually think that being level 10 probably is better. Because the amount of time, the logic here is that swipe does your AoE, and then when you get to a boss, you single target it down with maul. This is probably the safer approach to go. But if you have this trinket, it turns out it doesn't really matter. Because this trinket borderline one-shots things. The little ooze that spawns practically one-shots mobs. So, yeah, it doesn't... Maybe being level 11 and having a single target ability is helpful if you can't be bothered to go farm this thing up. But if you have this, then you kind of could easily be level 10 and probably see better results. But you live and you learn. If you're level 11, below 30% XP mobs are still scaled if you are level 10, but you get the extra stats from the level 2. Yeah, I think the Warforged gear, if you're level 10, is item level 59, I think, 58, 59, which may in some cases be a very small amount of, like, stats. I don't know. This is like one of those things. I'm sure there's so many little optimizations, and there are people that have done this sort of thing for years and are clearly very educated on it already. I am somebody that made a character 2 days ago and has been learning as he goes. Right, you gonna let me into a dungeon yet, Blizzard? No, clearly not. Although it seems to my shard seems to be broken. No, I'll send you the invoice. Paid within 60 days with interest. Oh dear, game crashing on me, dying. Frames, please. There we go. This doesn't look like it's going to let me in either. I think we're still capped on dungeon runs. This is why I should have done full runs rather than... Oh, we're in. That's why I should have done full runs rather than target farming. Die, Overseer, die. Overseer dead. See if we just pull the whole shebang now. There's something oddly satisfying about being able to stroll through a dungeon and solo it on a level 10 character. It ticks a weird box in your brain, one that probably doesn't make a huge amount of sense, but it's just kind of fun. Ooh! Oh, damn. Damn. Identical to the ones we've got. Well, we have a spare. I go get myself a Warforged piece of gear on the first drop. And it is identical to the one I've already got. Damn. No tertiary stat. No tertiary stat, no good. Where did that warder come from? How did I manage to not kill him last time? Also, good thing with the XP turned off, you can still play actively unsubbed. Can you do this on an Oh, you probably can, can't you? Once you've got... I think you're going to cause yourself a bit of trouble setting it up if you're unsubbed. But technically, yeah, because it's below level 20. Yeah, I can't see any reason why you would actually need a sub to be able to do this. It's an interesting approach I hadn't even considered. Because, yeah, the game's technically free to play up until level 20. Obviously, you are missing some pretty important features. Downside being you can't even open a mailbox. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there are most definitely some quality of life functions that you miss out. But if you are just spamming the dungeons and trying to get some of the gear, I don't think that actually matters, does it? Gold cap is annoying, but also yeah, it's 1,000 gold limit, isn't there? $1,000 gold limit. No ability to access mail, trade, or the auction house. But apart from that, the game is kind of open to you, I believe. Obviously up until level 20. I just buy reagents to craft later, like penumbra threads, etc. Oh yeah, because you can still engage with vendors. So, yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I hadn't even considered it from that perspective, to be honest. That you can do most of this without even needing a sub. Right, need nothing off this dude. But I need him to die nice and quick. Like that. Oh! Well, I said I needed nothing off this dude. But I'm quite willing to take a Warforged trinket. I've gone a new... That's 2 in 1 dungeon. 2 in 1 dungeon has made this look significantly easier than I should have made it look. That also means I've wasted all of my streamer luck on items that I shouldn't have wasted my streamer luck on. Ah, see, annoyingly, the +3 speed is actually almost worth more to me. Oh well, whatever. Good morning from the NA Goblins. When do we get the sales training for WoW 4-part seminar? I'm hoping that, you know, get that little that came across. I've not even checked the Discord since I wrote that, to be honest. I hope that is it sort of at least semi helpful. Yeah, so sometimes it's difficult to forget the 10 years of sales training I had. Not only had, but also was... I was practically a sales trainer for many years, so... Sometimes if I can lend a hand, I like to try and hopefully make sure it comes across as that. You didn't type /streamerlocker. I know, yeah. Yeah, it was silly of me to go run dungeons without... Now I've cashed in all of my streamer luck on 2 bosses on 2 items that I don't strictly need. But what are you going to do? It's an appearance all the same. Technically, Zygor claims these are an upgrade for me. Same stamina, same agility, but maybe crit mastery is better for me than haste mastery. Yeah, haste probably doesn't do me any favors, does it, realistically? Yeah, haste probably doesn't actually do much for me. That's super level of min-maxing, though, that I don't think is really a concern. For reference, for people that are question marking right now, over on Discord, though, it was posted a little interaction with a potential customer for a work order, which eventually didn't actually become something. And I think that it was a good example of how use of language can help you achieve things that you want with crafting orders. And if you structure your sales pitch in a certain way, you might not only be able to make more gold, but you might also have an easier time doing it with work orders. And it's very subtle, but right, let's just pull let's pull everything in the kitchen sink. Let's just go. Doing this for fun or to level others? At the moment, it's just pretty fun, if I'm honest. It's a silly little task that's quite fun. I'm unlikely to level others, not overly publicly. There may be opportunities to like level some of you guys or something like that, but like I wouldn't probably go as far as to advertise myself as a level booster in any way, shape or form, I don't think. My main goal for doing this really is A, just to see how it all works, curiosity more than anything else, but secondly, so that I can probably level up a bunch of my alts easily if I wish. Sign me up for the guaranteed sales strategies to make gold in WoW via the work orders. %50 off with code work order. Go away, you'll fix it. I don't think so. I think not. Game. Oh, I've just suddenly realised I'm not sure if you've actually got you guys have got the right audio again still. Ha! Killed everything. Where's the boss then? Getting into the infomercial YouTube video categories. It's, yeah, I spent so many years both in sales and teaching sales that I feel, that the only issue that's prevented me from doing anything of that nature on a actually more professional level nowadays is that I don't strictly have any, you know, like qualifications in it per se. I can get away with coaching on the internet in a video game because it's kind of, you know, kind of passive, but the hell was that going past my house? I need there to be some sort of magic way for you guys to use coffee beans that provides me with streamer luck. How does that, how can Twitch integrate that? Surely Twitch has a drop facility or something. The more people donate coffee beans, the more the streamer gets more streamer luck. I saw actually that Blizzard were trolling a little bit with the Season of Mastery servers. The server names were being, you know, leaked isn't the right word, but people have obviously been very interested with the Season of Discovery. Did I say Season of Mastery or Season of Discovery? Whichever one I say, they're interchangeable. You know what I mean. That people have been, like, at one point they deliberately named one of the realms the Streamer Realm. just to mess with people, which I thought was quite amusing. I do like it when Blizzard actually decides to have a sense of humour. It doesn't always work in their favour, mind, but it appears that there's not going to be that many servers for Season of Discovery, and I think that's probably because they want each server to be quite nicely populated, but they at the same time don't want everybody on one server, which is understandable. Because that can so easily happen. You know, if Asmongold makes a guild, then all of a sudden there's 50,000 extra people on that one server, which is, I imagine, quite problematic nowadays for server stability. Blizzard have got much better at this, though. Wow, I mean, to give them some credit where credit's due, Blizzard's server stability has vastly improved over the last few years. There was a period where it was dog doo-doo. Absolute dog doo-doo. I mean, look at Warlords of Draenor launch, for example. The definition of dog doo-doo. Is it going to be just classic servers or also hardcore servers for Season of Discovery? Just regular classic servers. I don't think they're doing a Discovery hardcore mode. That's probably next season. Maybe. WoD release was something else. I mean, that's putting it politely as well. Warlords of Draenor launch goes down in history as one of the most because there was some people that genuinely bought the game and could not play it for like a good week. Now, let's not forget that this is a game that you paid full price for and you paid a subscription to. You know, that's one of the very few times in history I think Blizzard have actually reimbursed people for server instability issues. Very rarely, if ever, can I really remember it happening, but WoD launch was a time where I vaguely remember people got like a bunch of game time reimbursed to them because it was just broken. I remember back in Vanilla and BC where the game would just be down for like a day at a time, sometimes due to maintenance. AV would break things. Yeah, it's much better now. There's no denying it is much better now. I think they've had plenty of practice, though. I think this definitely helps. They've had lots of practice launching things now, and it seems to work in their favour. Has it really improved, or do we just have less people playing? No, I think there is just as many, if not more people playing at launches of things than there probably ever was. What Blizzard is less efficient at doing nowadays is maintaining their player base. I think Blizzard has massive swings in their subscriber numbers. They will... I mean, expansion launches are... You know, obviously Blizzard's big ticket event. There's nothing like an expansion launch for bringing people back to the game. But I really don't think the expansions hold, you know. Let's say you get 10 million subscribers at the launch of an expansion, which I mean, Blizzard don't give the numbers, but the hype around an expansion launch, they probably do still do significant numbers. But I would say a good 50% plus have stopped playing by the end of that first month. The drop-off, I think, is ludicrous. But that's why I think Blizzard has probably focused quite a lot on diversifying their offering. Classic has really helped them to have something that keeps people entertained whilst retail does not, yet still provides them a maintained subscription. Because you need a subscription to play Classic. So, you know, if they can get you to dance between the two game modes, Blizzard doesn't care. They've still got your money. They don't care if you're playing one game or another game. That you're just playing a Blizzard game. It's the Apple ecosystem sort of mentality, you know? I imagine next launch will be a bit more hyped. I mean, there's no denying people were pretty hyped for Dragonflight. Dragonflight was, without question, a strong offering for people. I think a lot might ride on the success of what we see in an alpha and a beta. That's what really gets people hyped. This is why I've said for years, the alpha is kind of the last line of testing from Blizzard's perspective, where they're genuinely actually looking for feedback. By the time we get into beta, and the same with PTRs, the PTR is just a convenience for players to test some stuff before the patch goes live. The beta is exactly the same, and the beta realistically is just a marketing tool. I've long since believed that the beta or the PTRs are in any way, shape or form really for testing. Maybe short of some like very simple raid testing. I think the most part, for the most part, I think Blizzard's done everything they need to do internally. It's just a marketing tool, and it's a free one at that. So, okay, shoulders with leech. I'll take shoulders with leech. They're not strictly any better per se, but shoulders with leech will help. Yeah, a bit of bug fixing here and there, but I think I think what you forget is that most bugs that regular players both find and report are most likely bugs that Blizzard have found and have already fixed anyway. Your laundry list for Blizzard of like bugs to fix, they're going to find a lot of them very quickly. But the problem is they clearly don't allocate enough time to actually fix all of them, which is hence why the game often goes live with some pretty sizable faults. But you'll always see this, right? That people will make a song and dance to the fact that, oh, I reported this in the PTR, I reported this in the beta, and it's still a bug when the game goes live. Yeah, because it probably wasn't as high of a priority to fix as something else that you didn't even know was a bug, because they've already fixed it. I would suspect, at least, anyway. I'm sure it goes a little something like that. I should probably just nuke all of these greens. I haven't decided. Maybe one more run. I'm hooked. I'm hooked. Oh, I could probably do with fixing my gear, actually. Why don't you unlock Dreamwalk on your druid? Isn't there a level requirement to doing that? I don't even know. There may or may not be. Historically, I don't play a druid. I don't know all the tricks of the trade with a druid. I know they have dreamwalking ability. I don't know when and how you get it though. Educate me. Just do the first quest of the Legion Order Hall. For dungeons outside of this one, that might become helpful. This one, I just hop in the fire and it's, you know, easy business. Clearly they don't give an F on it. Same with a lot of the exploits in Dragonflight. I mean, like I said, it's a priority thing, isn't it? A lot of the time. We see them say this quite frequently, that they're not unaware of issues. They're very aware of the issues. The problem is they, you know, they have to put priority on what they fix. Now, you would also argue that you shouldn't probably be releasing patches and stuff until stuff is ready. But the size and the scale of this game nowadays doesn't really allow Blizzard that flexibility. This is one of the drawbacks of having an always-on online game, that you are kind of beholden to do things when you say you're going to do things, and that things, you know, need to be online. You know, because, well, stuff needs to happen when stuff needs to happen. I'm not saying they couldn't do a better job, but I think they get a lot of unfair criticism on a lot of stuff. Because it's, you know, if something affects you personally, it's super easy to think that it's the worst thing that's ever happened to anybody ever. There's a fancy term for that. I can't remember what it is. Personality bias or something. I can't remember. But like, you know, if you encounter a bug and that bug affects your gameplay, you know, you feel as if you've got the plague, and that if Blizzard doesn't fix it within minutes, that they're a scumbag and they should be prioritizing fixing bugs over whatever else. But there's often this scenario that, you know, if there's a significant bug that makes a boss in a dungeon or raid unkillable, or a bug or something that even worse means that it's dropping twice as much loot or something like that. There are probably significantly more severe problems that they are reactively trying to fix over something as simple as patching a reputation exploit or something. They could do better by not copying and pasting old code that's still buggy, though. That is one thing they could definitely... The fact that we've had the same bug appear almost every single patch is not acceptable. You know? If you fix something, don't copy and paste the old code that is still broken. Copy paste the new code that you fixed. That way you don't repeat errors. That ultimately is the reason why the Dracothist market was busted, because it was the same problem that they had with the tailoring cooldowns at the beginning of the expansion. They fixed it once. Oh, this pissing 10 seconds done. They fixed it once and then copied the old code and caused it to happen again. They should have learnt, because they even had to take the tailoring cooldowns offline for a while whilst they fixed it. So it's not like they didn't know it was going to be a problem in the future. But, you know, that is something where they could definitely improve. It's a multi-billion company. They have thousands of devs. Well, this is mostly the thing, right? There, you don't have just one person working on a thing anymore. You are going to have teams of people working on things, and a lot is easily lost in communication between those two teams, I'm sure. And I am not that savvy when it comes to like coding in general, but I fully understand that a rushed developer is not going to be producing as pretty a code as somebody that's allowed to take their time and do a thorough job of it. Meaning that, you know, if somebody else needs to come along and figure out what the flipping hell this code is doing, it might not be as straightforward. Ooh, a socket. A ring with a socket. That can at least upgrade the other one I've got. Okay, I said this was going to be the last run. Maybe one more. I'm determined to get another Warforged piece. I'm item level 46. We are moving up in the world. I probably, considering the fact that I can already very comfortably solo these dungeons, I'm not really in any strict need for any more gear. But I want those perps. Give me those perps. If there's gear out there I know I can have, I want it. No, don't subject... Oh, flipping hell. Do a test run in Chromie time, LFG, see how it goes. Should we do it for the content, for the lols? Do I risk catching strays just for 5 minutes of entertainment? With your characters, of course, don't expose yourself to randoms. Well, the problem I have currently is I don't have the other accounts set up, so... I can't easily simulate that yet. Trials would work. Yeah, maybe it's too much like hard work to set up quickly. If I'd have done it ahead of time, maybe. He'll die anyway. He's dotted up. Yeah, I could definitely do with a few more pieces with speed on it. Druid is not, you know, a bear is historically not the fastest anyway. So a bit of plus speed on some of this gear would also go down a treat, you know. I'd actually almost sacrifice, I think, a perp for a blue with plus speed on it. Because that one purple's worth of stats is, you know. Are you looking for Warforged item with speed on them? Sure sounds like you'll be farming for a good while. Yeah, I've annoyingly seen the armory of somebody with a redonkulous set of gear, so I'm really interested to that alert is hella loud. I need to fix the volume on that one. Scope Killer, welcome in. Does Bear Tartar work at all? I'm quite sure there's a level requirement on that. I'm not sure. Maybe. I don't like these overseers. These need to disappear quickly. There we go. Did you get any new epics or the weapon you wanted? We've had... We accidentally used all of our streamer luck about 10 minutes ago. Or it felt like about 10 minutes ago. I got 2 Warforged items in one run. I got a duplicate to one I already had with no tertiary stats on it. So that was sad face. But I also got a ring? No, trinket, sorry. Not an ideal trinket by any means, but, you know, some extra secondaries. Oh! Oh, plus speed on it, though. Talk of the devil. There's my streamer luck. Cheers, Derp. Appreciate that. Yeah, farming for a good while, my man. Good while. Good while. Oh, for God's sake. It's exactly the one I've already got. Flipping hell, I take it all back. I take it all back. I've already got that exact same item. Damn you, game. Damn you, game. Oh, well. I can't complain. A perp's a perp. I could definitely do with it dropping a piece I don't have a purple for, though. I think I'm getting to... I think I've got the quote-unquote easy-to-get gear from this dungeon. There are clearly some items that drop significantly more frequently than others. I think I'm kind of half scouting the rare boys. Okay. Okay. Now, I should leave it there. I should really leave it there. And actually, boys and girls, I think I might. I think I might. I'm actually getting quite hungry. IRL hungry. Talking of hunger of the pack, I think I have the entire hunger of the entire pack on me. I see you got the U's that can do insane damage. Yeah, this trinket is ridiculous. This trinket is actually silly. That trinket is doing 60% of my damage. It's actually silly. It's totally silly. But we're getting there. 46 item levels. I probably want to get him to item level 50. 50 is a nice round number. I still have a dum-dum level green belt that I need to fix. This is because this dungeon does not drop a belt off any boss. So I can easily replace that, and that's probably holding my item level back considerably. About item level 60, a couple of pieces of speed gear, and I think we'll be good. I've got, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 perps. So like 50% of Warforged now. The law of diminishing returns, though, means that the closer you get to fully perps, the longer and more difficult it will be to get that final last one, unless you hyper target farm it. But it's a cool little adventure I'm on at the moment. It's, you know, trying to justify it for any reason is probably silly. I kind of want this dude to help me with leveling a few alts where possible. We will test that out maybe in a little bit more detail, probably in a few days. Many of you will know Season of Discovery kicks off in quite literally a few hours. I'm unlikely to do anything for the launch of Season of Discovery because unfortunately it doesn't go live until 11 PM for me. So the smart thing for me to do is to get up and we'll play it tomorrow morning. So tomorrow, expect some Season of Discovery. I'm probably going to play a hunter. We probably can put a guild together if, you know, and we can probably maybe go hunt some secrets. We'll see what the crack is. Do some leveling over on Classic, I think, is the plan for tomorrow. And we'll see what happens over the weekend. Looking ahead, there are some things I probably should do IRL over the weekend, but if Season of Discovery grabs me by the balls, to use a phrase, we might throw up a stream over the weekend as well. We'll see, we'll see. Horde or Alliance? Good question. Equally haven't even thought of that. Genuinely hadn't even thought of that. I don't know. I don't actually know. Tomorrow is also door 1 on the advent calendar. It is. If I had an advent calendar. I've made the terrible mistake of completely forgetting that it's December, like. So we might have to wait a couple of days and open a few doors at the same time. We'll see, we'll see. But anyway, thank you all for joining today. Hope you had fun. We'll be back at this again tomorrow. Come say hi. I had one job. I know, quite literally. One job. Come say hi over on the Discord. Check out the YouTubes. Hit the follow buttons, hit the subscribe buttons, all of the buttons, press the buttons, all those buttons. You guys know the drill. You probably already have anyway, so thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day, boys and girls. I'll catch you next time. Peace.